Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. I am Michael Petro, and joining Martin Varl, Charles Fernandez, and myself on the show this week is actor, comedic genius, wife of previous show guest Aaron Murky. Lauren Cochrane is on the show. How did we get her? Well, Aaron said at the end of his episode, you guys should really speak to my wife. She's the funny in the family. And we were like, sure, can you hook us up? And Lauren said yes. So Lauren came on the show. We were like, what do you want to argue, Lauren? What's in your wheelhouse? What do you feel like shooting the shit on this week? Came up with a bunch of ideas, got the feel for what she likes to watch, some of her favorite characters, and out popped theme parks. That was the running theme in the conversation, somehow. It always goes off the rails. You know us. You listen to the show. What are we arguing about theme parks? Well, we all know there's Universal Studios, Six Flags, Disneyland, the big ones, right? You all have the rides and the worlds that are dedicated, like little pockets of a theme park. But what if the whole theme park? What if you got to build a whole theme park out of one movie or TV show? What the fuck would it be? Charles, Martin, Lauren, and me, we're going to tell you what those are, and a lot of them require waiver forms and being over the age of 18. That is all I will say this week. So that is what you're going to listen to. And Lauren, thank you again for coming on. You're such a champ. You're so much fun. Aaron sucks. No, just kidding. Aaron, we love you too. It's great to have a family on. A family of strangers are now friends. That's a really good thing to say. To everybody who's pressed play for the first time, hang around for a couple minutes. To you old folk, sorry, to you classic debaters, you OGs, same old shit. Website's been scaled down, right? We all know this. I've been talking about this for a couple weeks. Maybe we'll keep it that way. Maybe we won't. We'd love to hear from you on that. If you'd like more shit on the website, or if you just want a place to subscribe and listen to the show, we'll leave it as is. ReelDebaters.ca is where you can find all that. Easiest place to subscribe is the ReelDebaters.ca. It takes you everywhere on the net that you can possibly go that we are listed. If you want to support the show in other ways, you can donate or you can shop. You can shop the prop shop with all of our merch. You can throw some change that you found in the cushions of your couch at us. $1 or $2, guys. We're not talking about breaking the bank here. You throw a buck at us, it actually goes a long way, because if we get 25 of those bucks, then we get to pay for something that makes the show sound better, or that we, to spread the word out there. Something we're paying for, you get to help out with. And by donating, you accidentally get to be like a co-executive producer. You help make the show better. So you win, we win, everybody wins. If you want to shop us, we've got t-shirts, hoodies. We've got all the normal podcast swag, but we also have like skateboards and tote bags and laundry bags, and I think shoes and cell phone covers are there. Hit the prop shop in the show notes. It'll take you there. It's threadless.com. That's where we're hosting out of for our online store. Threadless makes great shit, and I have like 12 of these t-shirts because I'm a wannabe Kevin Smith, where I'm like, I'll promote my shit. So I have them in almost every single color, and they're cozy. They're the perfect t-shirt. I'm a t-shirt connoisseur, so I spent out of all the things that we've done in the last 2 years, the most time I spent was trying to find the perfect fucking t-shirt. Not just, well, probably just for me, but for you guys as well too. So if you want to support the show, shop us, donate to us, or subscribe to us. Those are the three easy ways, and one of those is free. If you just subscribe, it's free, and that means the world to us. So yeah, that's about it for who we are. Give you an introduction if you've pressed play for the first time. Thank you. We do this thing here every week where we like to give a shout out to the top 10 places that are doing heavy lifting. They're listening to us. They're talking about us. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, we're like, hey, we see you. So going out to the top 10, San Francisco, California. Pardon what I'm about to mispronounce. Bacolod City, province of Negros Occidental, which I believe is in Africa, which is really fucking cool. Surrey, British Columbia, Melita, Baconia, and Niverville, Manitoba. We're hitting them rural pockets of our province. Rio Rancho, New Mexico, Smithers, British Columbia, Concord coming in second. Concord, North Carolina. Whoever's down there, thank you. We love you. Send us an email, thereeldebaters@gmail.com. By the way, all the spelling is R-E-E-L. For all of our brand shit, to find us, just type in Reel Debaters, R-E-E-L. It's super easy. And drum roll, please. Nobody else is here besides me. Okay, drum roll. Winnipeg, Manitoba, rounding out top 1 of our top 10 this week, as always. Thank you to our hometown, Winnipeg. Maybe one day you'll be on this list. I know you don't give a shit, but we do. So that's why we're saying thank you. Thank you very much for putting us where we are. We wouldn't be here without your listens, without your downloads, and without your attention. It means a lot to us. From Jimmy, from Charles, from Martin, from Mark, from Rob, from me. Who did I forget? Ian, from Ian, from all of us here at the Reel Debaters. Thank you very much. That is it. That is all. I give you Lauren Cochrane. Stick around for the end. She gives us a little bit of we interview her and ask her questions about her career and the stuff and the movies she's been in. She's been in stuff with Liam Neeson. She's been in stuff with Forrest Whitaker. There's some stories there for you at the end, guys. So it's not just a debate. It's a get to know you as well with Lauren Cochrane. I'll shut up. I'll cue the reel. You enjoy the show.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everyone, to the official space section of the chart.
Want the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Sir, you're out of order. Out of order. I show you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Reel Debaters production. I am Michael Petro.
I am Charles Fernandez.
I am Martin Navarro.
And our special guest is...
Lauren Cochrane.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We are, as previously just mentioned, we're super excited. We have a previous guest's wife on. We have Aaron Murky's wife on the show. And I loved when we first started that. He was like, you guys picked the wrong person. You should have just called my wife. I was like, wait a...
Nice.
Yeah, exactly, right. He was like, you got the wrong talent. You got the wrong end of the talent in the family. So I was like, well, sweet. Maybe at the end of this, if you have a good enough time, you'll pass on the good word. And lo and behold, it worked. And here is Lauren. So thank you so much for joining us, Lauren.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad he recommended me. He's usually the tester. He'll try something and then let me know if it's cool. So food, is this bad? He'll try it. How's this movie? He'll let me know. That kind of thing. So
is he your husband or your court jester?
Both, actually. Yeah.
I don't want to try this meal. Where's my court jester to test if
Yes.
it's been poisoned or not?
Yes, exactly.
Great. So we got Charles, we got Martin, we got Lauren, we got me. I feel like I'm going to pick on Charles first this week. So why don't you start us off, sir? Exhale and
All
tell
right.
us, what the fuck did you watch this week, buddy?
Oh man, this week, funny enough, I might be one of the few that still watches Hell's Kitchen, but
No, you have a friend, indeed.
Oh yes,
Right here. No, I'm not current, but I am a Hell's Kitchen fan.
So when the pandemic started, I got Prime, and one of the first things I noticed was they had every season of Hell's Kitchen, and like a crazy person, I spent the next 4 months watching every season of Hell's Kitchen. So Claudia and I found out they had a brand new season, and we just like binged it over the week. It was great. Gordon still got it. He's still entertaining as hell.
So let's get a temperature of the room here. Have we all seen an episode of Hell's Kitchen over the years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I can back up Charles here on Prime. It's the unedited version.
Yeah, it is.
So
Great.
it's all of
It's
the
great.
insults, F-bombs, Gordon Ramsay unedited. So it actually takes the Fox version of Hell's Kitchen
Yeah.
and makes it like the Playboy After Dark version of Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
So there's no beeps?
There's no beeps.
Nothing.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. And like you also get to hear all the background chatter. Like you realize there's times where they're already back at their stations and Gordon is still talking shit, and you hear all of that. It's great. Like it's like a director's cut of Hell's Kitchen, basically.
Pretty much is.
Yeah.
And I'm on a season right now where like people are fucking and getting drunk and showing up to service still in the... I'm like, this feels like when me and Martin used to work together.
I used to be a server. That sounds pretty much normal.
Right?
Dead on.
Like, don't show up ready to work. Show up
Oh, yeah.
half in the bag.
Yeah.
Still smelling like last night's vodka and regret. Try to cover it from all your customers and carry on through a hot kitchen and service
Oh,
through
yeah.
the remainder of the evening.
And you always have that one guy or that one person that's just pouring sweat on everything in Gordon.
That reminds me of Iron Chef, because Iron Chef, the old Japanese one, the chefs would just sweat into all the food, and it would just add to the salt of the flavor of whatever you were eating.
That's what unagi actually is.
That's the secret of Japanese umami. That is it.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Umami is just the chef's sweat. Okay, so where are you? You said you watched the newest, like the 2020, 2021 episode?
Yeah, so I guess like everything, they went on a hiatus last year, and then I guess this was the first season since pandemic or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, and we finished watching it last night. It was a thrill ride, man.
What any like major cuts, any major, because I mean there's usually one dude or one chef is like either passing out
Yeah,
or like has heart palpitations.
it's true. Like that is a reoccurring thing, and it's to the point now where when a new season starts, me and Claudia are actually like, who do you think's going to go out with a medical condition? 'Cause that's what it always is, right? It's like medical condition, and it's so dramatic because it's like, the hospital has said they will not continue the competition. You're like, okay, so it was them. This year it was a guy named Drew, I think. He just got really stressed, which makes sense because it's not like a normal kitchen, and everyone's always like, oh. And he was like freaking out, and I think he just had he had a panic attack, and then he just didn't want to come back, which is probably how I would go out on that show.
Why does that? Maybe that just happened on 4 seasons ago that I watched, because I'm way behind. I'm in 2006, I think.
Oh wow, yeah, no, you're getting there though.
Yeah, 30 more seasons to go.
I think when they're auditioning people, there's definitely a week where they're auditioning. I hate to say it, but they're looking for the week, or who could we prey on? Because it's insane how every season has at least one person out with a medical condition. There's always one.
It's almost like they go through their medical file after, and they're like, which one can we put on without getting sued?
Yeah, or you guys have to get a physical. It's for the audition. People they're like, okay, weird, but whatever. And then they find the one that they're like, well, that could be an episode. That person will definitely go out on that one.
Mhm.
We'll get Gordon to yell at him, and he'll have a medical condition, and that'll do it.
Do they still do the chef's table?
Yeah, they do.
Where they bring in a famous person, and then Gordon just sets them up for failure?
Yeah, and also it's funny, they did Vegas this year, and I was thinking there should be some decent celebrity guests on there. Not that there wasn't, but a lot of it was athletes that have been retired for 20 years, and I'm like, well, and you could tell that I hate to say it, but the chefs, nobody knew who they were, so they'd say the athlete's name, and then you have one guy who's like, cool, yeah, cool. And one guy who's our age that would be like, yeah. And that would be it, maybe. Yeah.
Lauren, what's your experience with Hell's Kitchen? Is it because I know me and Shauna love to watch food shows. Do you and Aaron, are you a food show?
Yeah, we used to watch Chopped a lot.
It's a great show.
And then what was that other one where they would get a weird challenge where halfway through they'd have to cook with a lighter or with their arm tied behind their
Cutthroat
back.
Kitchen.
Yeah, we watched that too. And then the other Gordon Ramsay one, but the original one in the UK, when he would go to the restaurant makeover one where he would
Kitchen Nightmare.
It's they're making fish and chips, but it's they haven't changed the oil since 1978. It's part of the flavor, and they're really mad that he's changing it, and it's there's a lot of C words thrown out there because it's England. It's England.
The UK is a different kind of beautiful in terms of their cursing and everything. It's really nice.
Yeah, they take everything to 11.
Yeah, they really do. And Gordon's in his element there, right? So
yeah. So we used to watch that a lot, and then I worked in a restaurant, so it's I'd always look for that's because we used to have a manager that we called Cokehead Anthony.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we had that, and then I actually had another manager at another restaurant we called Cokehead Daryl, and he would go in. He would go in the bathroom and then come out. We always wore black aprons. It was a very fancy breakfast place in Toronto, and he'd come out and we'd be like, "What's on your apron?" He's like, "Oh, it's powdered sugar from the French toast. Yeah, it's powdered sugar." And we're like, nobody has ordered powdered French toast today, dude. So
it's kind of scary that a lot of restaurants have a Cokehead Daryl or a Cokehead
Anthony. Yeah, no, I think it's pretty common actually. I worked a lot of breakfast places, and that's a whole other subculture of restaurant life, because you have people coming in who have to open at 7 a.m, and they have worked at their other restaurant job the night before. So the things they have to do to carry on is interesting.
Get that little energy boost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By doing more powdered sugar.
Yeah. Lots of powdered sugar. There's a lot of French toast and waffles, guys. Gotta serve them up.
Martin, are you watching any food shows right now in rotation at all?
No, I don't really watch food shows. I don't know. I used to watch. I watched the old Iron Chefs. That's what I used to watch. The Japanese ones, but
we've jumped out on those before too.
Yeah, and I've seen Hell's Kitchen. I used to watch, not recently, but I guess when it first came out, it was just something that was different, something cool, and seeing this guy just swear and yell in the middle of a restaurant was very entertaining, the first few seasons. So, but I've worked in restaurants too. We've worked in restaurants.
Yeah, I think we've all
definitely.
Oh yeah.
I think it should be a requirement, to be honest with you. I think it teaches people to not be assholes
Dicks.
everywhere
Yeah.
they go.
Yeah.
And proper tipping.
Yes, absolutely.
And why?
And why?
Exactly.
I couldn't agree with you more, Lauren. I think it should be a prerequisite for like. I think you should do that instead of going to university. Travel. And
You know
work.
how like some countries in Europe have those what do you call it? They have like mandatory military service.
Yeah.
Canada should have like mandatory restaurant service for like 1 year in
Food
college.
service, or I'll even give you customer service, but some type of dealing with the public in a
Mhm.
closer setting, I think, is important.
Yep.
Lauren, can you just turn your mic up a little bit?
Absolutely. I think I did.
These deep voices that me and Charles have, I don't want to
Oh.
overtake you on the.
Let me see.
I like how you just said me and Charles have deep voices. Martin definitely has a high pitched voice. 'Cause
Wait,
when he gets
opposite
excited, he
pitches.
sounds like a child.
I was
I can talk like
implying,
this for the rest of the interview. I just don't know if
Actually, that's perfect. Your mic's perfect now.
that's great.
yeah, drop it off.
He sounded like a very deadpan comedian, you know?
Exactly. All right, is that better? Did I do it?
Yes, that's
Okay.
way better.
Okay, good.
All right. No, I wasn't implying that Martin didn't have a deep voice. I was just saying that me and Charles are in the room, so combined with dual microphones.
Because otherwise, Martin has the deepest.
I
voice.
listen to Martin's voice before I go to bed every night. He doesn't know I have a recording of him.
Oh.
It is like Morgan Freeman. It is a warm glass of milk into my ears.
Love it. That's great.
Oh shit. Okay, so new season of Hell's Kitchen for
Yeah.
anybody out there who's a big foodie, likes watching food shows.
If you're
How many? It's my show. I can say it. How many cunts out of 5 would you give it?
That's a good one. This season, you know what? It had some good twists and stuff. I'll give it a 4 out of 5 cunts.
I love it.
So yeah,
Can't say cunt.
yeah. Gordon would be proud.
He would be. And you know, he's such a sweet guy, too.
He is.
That's like the surprising thing. I watched his daughter's TikTok,
Yeah.
and she did this trick where she was like trying to put an egg into a bottle.
Oh, she totally got him with that.
And she did like a sleight of hand where she put the egg into the other hand, and then when she pulled her hand away, Gordon looked inside the bottle and didn't see that the egg was coming, and she smashed it on his head, and then
love it.
sprayed the bottle of
Yeah.
water into his face and just ran out of the room.
Yeah, it was great.
And I'm like, that kind of like, you know that he's putting on the Ritz in the show
Yeah.
just to create an environment of stress to excel in.
Oh yeah.
He's like that dude from Whiplash, J.K. Simmons'
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. Not quite my tempo. He just keeps yelling that to everyone.
Can you
Not
fucking
quite my tempo.
Yeah.
Not quite my tempo.
Yeah.
not quite my tempo? Oh, that's the best scene in the whole movie.
Are you dragging?
So 4 out of 5 cunts. Okay,
Yep.
great, awesome. Now that you've watched it, if
Mm-hmm.
you were to watch it again, how would you watch it? Would you?
So, funny enough, so when it got to, so that was season 19 of Hell's Kitchen, the latest one. So on Prime, when you get to like season 8 of this shit, you're basically like, hey, I'm going to skip these episodes because they're always bad. So it got to a point where I'd always watch the first episode of a season because that's always like, they cook their signature dishes and he just destroys all of them. It's so good. And then I would usually skip right to the season finale because at that point I'm like, I don't give a shit about all the other stuff. Who are the two chefs? Let's see that go down. So if I were to watch it again, I honestly would probably do the exact same thing. I'd watch the first episode because it's great. He destroys some really good ones and whatnot. And then I would just go right to the last 2 episodes. The last 2 episodes, he did like a double like twist thing.
I think you got to go
over-
to like Restaurant Wars when they do the Restaurant Wars, and then they go into
Yeah.
like Final Showdown.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
kind of where
Yeah, the Restaurant Wars, that's a good one too.
because
yeah.
they get to set up their
Yeah.
own menu,
Yeah,
and set up the
yeah.
environment, and all that. You can
Yeah.
tell how much restaurant shit I watch by knowing that every season of every show, competition or not, has a Restaurant Wars theme.
Yeah.
Like it's just the thing to do. All right, cool. I dig it. I'm gonna go from 2007 to 2021.
I'm so excited for you.
Nothing will change except the amount of cunt words that cunt words. That's a new thing.
The rise of their pants. That would High
Your
rise.
Your timing is just perfect, Lauren.
Thanks.
Let's see here. I'll close this out. So let's Martin, you go next. What'd you consume this week?
I just started last night. What I want to talk about. It's Netflix released a new animated series called Trece. which is it's basically it's an animated series based on Filipino horror and folklore. So
Cool.
yeah, it's pretty cool. It's the animation. It's similar to like Castlevania or Invincible, kind of like that '90s style kind of animation. And it's very violent, very good. I'm only like 4 episodes in, but it's so far really interesting. So each episode kind of tackles a different part of Filipino mythology. And if I'm gonna pick something that it's similar to, it's kind of similar to a John Constantine, the main character. So she's like a paranormal investigator that works with the police, and she kind of deals with all these different supernatural elements in the Manila underworld. So I think it's just cool to see, because as being a Filipino, just cool seeing like something like this come out in the forefront of Netflix, because the Philippines really doesn't get a lot in terms of that. And the cast is mostly Filipino. I think one of the biggest names on the show who's not Filipino, but it's Lou Diamond Phillips has a small part in it as well.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I think if you like I think Mike, you started watching Castlevania, right? So if you like Castlevania, you'll probably like this series as well.
You've already sold me on another culture's lore and history. Like, I love learning about what different cultures have in terms of, like, you know, the boogeyman, right? Or,
Yeah.
Or like some sort of folklore, or some sort of, like, you know, Roald Dahl-esque, like, not Roald Dahl. He wrote Mortimer Be Quiet. No, did he? I'm confusing my childhood authors. Anyways, I like that is what I'm trying to get at. So, like, what are some of the things that they like? What are some of the paranormal situations or whatnot that?
So without giving too much away, but like one of the popular things in something that they bring up in the first episode is like there's like a spirit that's all in white, and it's usually a female that they bring up, and it's like a vengeful spirit. So there's something that happened to her in the past that she still sticks around and wreaks havoc on the world, sort of deal. But similar like that, that's the thing that I like to hear. The one thing that I like about this series is, you know, I'm just hearing all the things I heard as a child from my parents and my cousins of all the different monsters that would get you in the Philippines if you're not behaving. So stories that they tell you to kind of make you behave. So it's cool seeing those things again. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's fucking cool that, like, the shit that you used to come up with in your head is now something that someone else is
And Filipinos are a very superstitious people. So like when you go to the Philippines and you go to the countryside, especially, like all those stories you hear, it just kind of freaks you out. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is where all those stories are born, in like the jungles of the Philippines and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty.
That's so cool.
I dig that Netflix is taking that, because I mean, you could run with that.
Yeah.
You can go to any culture in the world and find that stuff and use animation. Because do you think animation's the route to go, or would it be good as live action?
I think they did good with animation, just because, I mean, it's a lot cheaper to film too, and you can just I mean, you could show more. I think with animation, there's a lot more you can get away with animation than you could with live action. Like, I mean, we were talking about Invincible the other week. There's scenes that are just hard to get away from in live action in that cartoon that you can get away with sort of with an animated version of it. So
Yeah, I totally agree. I think also too, even probably as a creator, they have more freedom. They don't have to worry about asking permission, because with animation, there's kind of like that, like what you were saying, Martin, you can get away with stuff more. Like Invincible, right? Like you wanna drive a train through someone, you can do that with animation. Doing live action, you know how many people have to okay that shit? You know what I mean?
I don't even think it's the okay. I think everybody would be okay. I think it's just the money.
Yeah, well, that's obviously a huge thing,
But, like,
for sure.
Like, how do you do this with less money is
Yeah.
always their concern.
For sure.
Lauren can definitely back us up on that
Oh
one.
yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, money's always the first. Like I think that's always the first question. Anything. Like,
It's-
yeah.
All right. So what would this look like? Half the price. Just let's play with that for a second. Okay. So I don't. What would you? Where are you at right now with it? Are you how many episodes?
I'm just at episode 4, I think 4 or 5. I'm like maybe midway through. I'm not sure how many episodes. I'm assuming, since it's a Netflix production, probably 10 episodes a season. They're about 30 minutes each episode, so not a huge investment if you wanted to watch, I guess, the first season.
Are they doing weekly release?
No, it's all released all at once.
Okay.
So
Are
you
you
can binge it.
You can binge it. Are you
Yeah.
gonna chew through it the rest of the weekend, or are you gonna kind of?
I probably will. I don't know. It depends. Most likely, if depending on the weather, if weather's nice in Vancouver, I'll probably not. But if it's raining, I probably will.
Nice.
That's that right now with everybody going through COVID. It's like, is it a nice day outside? Take advantage of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
You know, you can like Netflix will always be there. They've been there for us for 15 months. They will be there for us when we return. Lauren, do you? Because I know Charles and me and Martin have all talked about Invincible to death. We're actually trying to plan a all cast live action fan casting of Invincible. So we want to take who the director would be, who we think would play them in live action, what studio would do it, what who would do the soundtrack, who would produce it, like just really reshape it. Do you appreciate animation in your personal life? I know because we're going to talk about what you and the 2-year-old watched, but like,
Yes, a lot more animation nowadays.
did you like it before?
Yes, I did. I mean, I was like I loved a lot of stuff when I was a kid, but it was kind of like, you know, the standard, like when you say like, oh, I loved like, you know, DuckTales or, you know, like Darkwing Duck or, you know, Ninja Turtles, all that stuff when I was little. And then I just kind of, anyway, whatever was on as I kind of got older. And then I kind of got into it again when I actually really started getting into acting, because there's a lot, especially if you're in Vancouver, there's a lot of voiceover work. So then there's a lot of really neat projects and stuff. So you kind of start watching more animation to kind of feel the like, okay, that's how they're, you know, inflecting some character into it without using any part of their body other than their voice. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm an animation nerd or even an expert at all, but I enjoy it. I do like, and I the one you were talking about sounds really neat. I might actually check that out because I like it when there's something to it, like there's something interesting about it. It's not just like existing. But of course, most of the stuff I'm watching right now is existing because it's 2 and 3 and 4 year olds.
So, Martin, what would you rate this? Steve had a good point the other day. We did a commentary that's going to be coming out, and we did it on Bubba Hotep.
Oh, classic.
So that was a lot of Elvis talk, a lot of bad Elvis impersonations by maybe me, but that will come later. But so we're going to increase the 5 to the 10 because 5 is too limiting. So, like, what out of 10?
I give it 8 cheeseburgers out of 10, Michael.
Hey, thank you. You know how to speak my language. See,
8 double cheeseburgers that you sneak into a theater out of 10.
Nice.
Lauren, I support movies. I don't support theater concessions. So I will. I'll bring in 8 cheeseburgers. And
Aaron and I brought a whole Chinese dinner into a movie once.
fuck you, my hero.
I used to have this purse that we called the Narnia purse because you could fit so much stuff into it and it didn't look like you could.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She's left us now, unfortunately. But I once I go to the States again, I got it at Target, so I'm gonna try to find a Narnia too.
Buy me one because I don't think anybody would have balls to call me out for carrying a handbag.
Yeah, no, it was great. Like like a taco dinner, a full Chinese dinner. Oh yeah, it was great.
Like, what do you do as an employee when like someone's in the middle of their dinner? Like, it's not just snacks you smuggled in. Like, you're eating egg foo young and deep fried veal and whatever. And like, I wouldn't walk over to you and be like, "Excuse me, stop eating your dinner." I would congratulate you and be like, "Well done. I didn't see that coming."
Yeah, I mean, I've never had anybody say anything to me. I worked in a movie theater when I was in high school, and I never said anything to anybody. Like, guys would be like cracking Corona, like you'd hear the bottle of beer roll down.
Yeah.
And like smash into stuff, and I was just like, you know what? I don't get paid enough to deal with this. Like, just please don't barf and make me clean it up. That's all I care about.
Exactly.
Keep it within the parameters of what my minimum wage consists of. Let's not.
Exactly.
Also, we're that age now, and I do it.
Yeah.
And I get it.
And I'll throw my McDonald's bag out after, like in front of people.
I
don't care.
I take my stuff out always. Like, it's great. And you'll go people after and be like, holy shit. Like, one time, yeah, we had like these full-on huge meatball subs, and I'm pretty sure the usher saw us and literally did one of those like, looked just past and kept looking. And it was like, thank you, sir. Because, yeah, like, that's just going to cause an issue for... It's going to be a bigger deal than it needs to be. Just let me finish eating, and then nothing happened.
Yeah, give me...
Right.
I appreciate that I got past your one check stop. And, you know, whatever. All right.
Right.
I dig it. All right, well, I will let Lauren go last year, so I will get mine out of the way. I'm surprised neither of you gentlemen have said anything about this yet.
Because I thought you were gonna bring it up, so I thought I'm like, someone's gonna bring it up, right?
Well, let's see if what we're all thinking is correct. Do we have a shared Loki brain here?
Yes. That's
okay.
what I was thinking, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna try not to spoil Loki because it is only 3 days old. Here's what I'll say about Loki. Lauren, did you watch WandaVision at all?
I did watch the whole thing.
Nice.
WandaVision on steroids then.
Oh,
So
okay.
what they are doing is they're taking the same stories that they put into Wanda with regret, with heartbreak, with grieving and loss and all of those stories. Now they're looking at Loki with changing his ways, making him a better person, seeing the error of what he's done. And they just put it into sixth gear in the first episode. There's so much heartbreak
Yeah.
in the last 10 minutes of the episode that you're just like, oh, where are we going in 5 episodes from here? And so all of the little kooky things that WandaVision brought and the questions we were all asking and not knowing where it was going. And then when it landed there, you were like, oh, this is a lesson in storytelling. That is where Loki is in episode 1. The humor's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It is really good.
Loki has always been a character that I've been like, give me more.
Mm-hmm.
Dig into this man. Find out who he is, because not only is he a great actor, Hiddleston.
Oh, yeah.
And we can pronounce his name under like, Baby Boy Cabbage Patch. But like, Benedict Cumberbatch for any of you who don't know what I'm talking about. But he's just... You see things like they get past the arrogance, they get past the godliness, and then they start to dig into the human. And Owen Wilson, I'm just waiting for it. I hope one of those writers was just like, just give him one line. Just give him one. That's all I want.
Yeah.
And then I'll be happy. But it's...
Is it a spoiler if you tell me who he plays in Loki?
No, it's not a spoiler at all. So we open with what everybody has assumed, which is it picks up right where Loki disappears with the Tesseract in Endgame or Avengers 1, depending on how you look. Well, Endgame. So much timeline. So that's where it picks up. But then the Time Variance Association, the TVA,
Yes.
intercepts him. And it's very Adjustment Bureau with Matt Damon and Emily Blunt, where there is a timeline. And that timeline, when interrupted, they're alluding to the fact, and they've already said, show writer and Feige, Daddy Kevin, that this will explain multiverse.
Yes.
Not only do they use the word multiverse 5 times in the opening,
Yeah.
but it will also tie in some WandaVision stuff. Like, there's a lot here. And I don't want to give you all the big bullet points that start to show where the show's going, because those are really great when they're revealed. As many as there are, every single one of them is important. But Owen Wilson plays a time variant agent.
Okay.
And he believes that Loki is the key to something. And Loki has to get past Loki's problems to start to see that. And at the end of episode 1 is where you start to see that relationship grow. But Owen Wilson steals the show. There's there's an interview scene where like he's kind of trying to counsel him and ask him questions, and you're just like so enamored by Wilson's performance because the way he's talking to a god of mischief that you've come to know.
Yeah.
It's shot in this. It's like David Fincher got a hold of it because it's all green. Like the hues and the color scheme are all green in some way.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, that's 5,000-year-old Asgardian leather. Get your hands off of it.
Yeah,
like there's
yeah.
just this like sassiness of Loki that wasn't there in the movies.
Well, and also what we're forgetting is that it's the Loki from Avengers 1.
Yes.
And Loki in Avengers 1 is very cocky, very God, whereas by Endgame, he's not so much like that because of all that shit he's gone through.
I cried.
But we don't have that Loki, right?
I cried 3 times in 7 minutes.
Yeah, right. But we don't have that Loki. That Loki in from Avengers 1 is still the asshole. So it's so funny how he is the asshole still right away.
The Loki we all have is the Loki we left in Infinity War.
Yeah.
That Loki has still yet to meet that Loki.
Right.
And you are watching Loki learn who Loki is.
Right.
It's a lesson in self-discovery.
I think what the coolest, most exciting thing is between WandaVision and this is that Marvel is definitely dipping the deepest it ever has in lore.
Yes.
Of like things beyond our understanding and how the universe is so little we're so little and insignificant. So that's really cool. And they're doing what I think they do for something that's at a phase 4, which is like, go nuts. Give us something that we've never seen before, and it's like right in between Doctor Strange 2 and what they're building up to. It's like multiverse for sure, And what better way to introduce the X-Men than have a multiverse timeline where they already exist?
The one thing I will tell you is, do we all remember Jurassic Park when they sit down and they go through that roller coaster ride and we meet Mr. DNA?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Otto DNA.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a clock that is 100% a ripoff of Mr. DNA.
Oh yeah, totally.
Explaining the
Yeah.
time variance association. So you get some backstory as
Yeah.
to why these guys exist. And it's 100% like, boom, with the insertion of frog female DNA, we have a baby dinosaur.
Yeah,
That's 100% what that whole scene is, which
was
is great because it's how they speed up time. And I mean, time is, this is a time heist like Paul Rudd has never seen.
yeah.
So,
yeah, yeah.
like, I strongly, and you make a really good point about the lore thing. I think they've realized that they were catering to a group of pimple-faced, oily-skinned nerds for so long that they forgot about the ability that some of these pimple-faced nerds had to get girlfriends and wives and whatnot. So they are writing these shows for everybody now.
yeah.
They're not just writing them for your comic book nerd demographic
Yeah.
archetype. They're going, let's talk about all of these feelings that don't make great sense in comic books, but when you dive deeper, they do.
Well, and also as one of those pimple face nerds that like has loved
You're very
this
clear
forever,
today. Your complexion
this-
is spot on.
like this where it's going, it's cool to be just like everybody else as a fan, like because I have no idea. Like this is shit I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember the TVA when I was reading comics. Like I didn't get to that point. I was still just Spider-Man in New York, you know, like that was where my depth went in terms of like, so this is new to me as well. So what I love is I get to just learn and be like, you know, my nerd levels are 0 at this point or 1 because I'm just learning the same way everybody else is. And it's just cool to still just make theories and stuff because it's going to all come together. Like at this point, they don't just do stuff to be like, let's see what happens. You know, like they have
It's
a
too
plan.
expensive
Right.
to just be like, whatever
So-
comes out, we'll deal with.
Exactly, right? So, but it's cool. I'm excited because obviously up until now, there's always been like, oh yeah, in the comic this happened, so I hope they do this, and they would, and it'd be cool fan shout out. And now I'm like, I have no fucking idea, man. Like I have no idea where this is going, and I love it. Like I'm just excited to see it unravel.
Martin and Lauren, any questions about anything else you might want to know or be spoiled on? Because I will reveal them as needed.
Is it shot the same with like the like WandaVision had such, we watched a couple of episodes like back to like in a row, like the same one in a row, because
Yep.
just watching the minute attention to detail of like, you know, the set pieces, even the lighting, even the like angles, like all of that stuff, especially when they were jumping through like genres of
So
sitcoms.
what we're getting with this is what they did with the genres of the TV show, they're going to do with time. So you're going to see different eras. Like they've already released this stuff. It's been on Instagram, so it's not anything that's like strict to the plot. But in 1971, Loki was also DB Cooper.
Yeah, and
DB Cooper being the famous guy who hijacked a plane, disappeared with a bunch of cash, and nobody ever saw of again. So they're blending in some conspiracy theory
yeah,
that's true to life. That's one example. Another example would be that you can see it in the title sequence, and you can already see it starting to happen. Like there's a time caller that they can put you into a loop. So
Yeah.
if you try to do anything, they just click a button and it sets you right back to where you were. So their gadgets are even based in time. So what they'll take from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s that they did with WandaVision, they will do in eras of time. I can see it happening. So you're going to get what you're talking about where the little minute details, the Easter eggs, they've
Yeah.
already, like Agent Carter's in the background in one shot. She's
Yeah.
faded out,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
she's
yeah.
there.
yeah.
So,
Awesome.
and it's just
Yeah.
like, it's a whiff.
And it's smart too because I can see it already kind of tying to the Eternals because the Eternals are beings that have existed over time, right?
This
So-
thing, because of when you get the timeline explanation, I want you all to be surprised because it's pretty fucking cool.
yeah,
You'll go, all right, this is the laying of the land
Mhm.
for the Spideyverse, for
Yeah.
the multiverse,
For
for the
sure.
multiverse of madness, for anything that's IP related that they can't figure out how to retcon or script in properly,
right.
or they just want to bring in the X-Men. It's perfect to find the
Yeah.
X-Men in a multiverse timeline, and then all of a sudden need their help, and boom, everybody's happy.
Yeah,
So out of 10, I give it like 9 out of 10 Infinity Stones. I give it 9 out of 10 Infinity Stones. What is that? 45 stones? That doesn't even make math right. But no. So, and I know you're all going to watch it. Like, if you loved WandaVision, Lauren, you're going to watch it. And I know,
Okay, yeah, we will.
like, so
Just for his performance alone, it's worth it. Like, if you like Loki, that's it. That's your reason to watch it, because you're getting it, and it's him at his best.
the best line in it so far is when they ask him to plead guilty for his time crimes, and he goes,
the robot stuff.
he goes, "Madam, a god does not plead." And you're just like, that's Loki. Like, he just will not forget that he's a fucking god.
Yeah.
Anyways, so check it check it the fuck out, because it's Wednesday. It's not waiting till Friday,
Yeah, it's
right?
kinda
It's
nice
a
to have
midweek
something.
fun, you know. But all right, we're gonna let our special guest close this off, because she's got twofer for us. So we're gonna give her the big chunk of the time
That's
here.
right.
Because, like, you know what? Some people have told me about kid shows recently, and I've been like, meh, I might check that out if I was under the influence. So, so Lauren, let's go with what you and your child have been watching first for everybody out there, because I hope we've got people who have kids. At least we have some responsible listeners.
Well, yeah, like she has watched way more television than we had ever anticipated, but you know, pandemic, sorry, mental health is required, so she's gonna watch more. So we do try to give her like educational shows, but then there are some that are just for fun, and so she watches a few. She does like Paw Patrol. I mean, any kid does, but I think she gets like bored with it, because she started watching like she's going to be 3 at the end of August, and she actually has a pretty good attention span, so she can watch shows that have a bit more of a plot to them than most little kids can. Like, she can watch a whole Pixar movie like straight through, and a lot of kids her age can't at all. Yeah, so but so she watches Paw Patrol. Another one she really likes is called Chip and Potato.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and it's yeah, so this one is a little pug. It's a family of pugs, and they live in this like animal universe. And so her name's Chip, and she has a little stuffed animal that everyone thinks is a stuffed animal, but it's actually a real mouse, and her name is Potato. And she wears a little pink hoodie, and when she wants to hide, she goes, "Hoodie up, Potato." And so Potato like hoodies up and then hides away. But I like it because there's a lot of like really subtle things in the background too for parents, where there's a lot of inclusivity, and like she has neighbors that are just gay zebra dads with a little baby, and there's no mention of like, and these are 2 men that are married. It's just like they're there, it's their dad, and that's it, and moving on. And yeah, and then she has a best friend who's a panda, and he doesn't listen, and he falls out of the tree and breaks his panda arm, and his mom's name is Amanda Panda. Like, it's just like that. It's just cute. It's fun. And then we got her to watch She-Ra, the new She-Ra, which has been really fun for me too to watch.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing where you're not forced to sit there and be like, when's this shit over?
No, I mean, sometimes it's a little scary. Like, she'll just go, I don't like Scorpia is a bad character. And she's like, I don't like the Pinchy princess. And we're like, okay. Like, you know, so because she's got big like claw arms.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's cool too. And same thing, they did a lot of revamping of it. Like, Bo is now, I think he's dark skinned, so I'm assuming he's black, but and he has 2 dads, and like Glimmer, is much more badonkadonk now, and like different body types, and there's a lot more like, there's just a lot more appreciation of not just like this one girl in slinky clothes. Like, she's actually
like your
kind of
typical
badass.
comic book,
Yeah,
like, hot bodied cartoon character. Yeah,
no, she's not like that. She's not. I wouldn't say, I don't know, I don't get the habit of rating the looks of girl characters in movies, but
Bring out your book and let us know what you've rated.
but she's strong, and she's powerful, and she cares, and she's learning, and so they show that. So I like her seeing that stuff. So.
And you know what? I think that's key to children's programming now, because before it was just like, here's some gummy bears, here's some DuckTales. Like, it's a story, but there's no substance, right? There's potato, but there's no meat, so to speak.
Right.
And it's nice to see that animation is choosing, because it is the one thing that parents put their kids in front of the most, right? So if you're going to put that stuff in, I mean, that's a great initiative.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the other one she watches is a new one. It's called Cupcake and Dino General Services, and it's a cupcake and a dinosaur that are brothers, and they work in general service jobs. And it's very funny. Like, it's kind of got a bit of the humor of like Adventure Time, but not as like out there, so like kids can kind of follow it a bit more. And the theme song is hilarious, and she just wants to listen to the theme song over and over again. So if you want something silly and fun, you could probably watch that and enjoy yourself.
Is that on Netflix?
Yeah.
I'm gonna add it to my list now because I love
Yeah.
Adventure Time. Adventure Time's great.
Yeah, like you can just see, like Aaron and I both watch, like there's a bit of like silly things in there, like, you know, where there's just like a butt like in the background, like waving in the background, like you just giggle, like just silly things. So
That's great.
yeah. Mark Little is one of the voices on it, like the
Oh,
comedian.
nice.
So yeah, it's very funny, very, very funny.
That's awesome.
I don't dip into the Netflix children's stuff just for, I don't want to fuck up my algorithm, but not that it's already fucked up enough.
But you can go in the kids section, like they have a kids section, so you can mess around in that algorithm, and it doesn't
Yeah, it's
affect
like a
your
profile.
Oh,
Like you
okay.
can just have a kid's profile so that.
I just don't want Shauna to go in and be like, "Why were you watching Paw Patrol?" Like, I just don't need that in my life. So, you know, like, why? What's the problem?
Yeah.
They got me through a hard time. Okay?
Yeah. You were at the farm. I was alone. I needed some consoling.
They're dog cops. Just leave me alone.
Needed to feel safe in my home. But okay, cool. Good to know, because I've heard there's some funny stuff in there.
Yeah. There's a few on Netflix actually, especially for like the 6 to 11-year-olds. There's a lot of really funny ones. Like Harvey Girls is really funny, and my daughter's still a little too young for that, but sometimes I'll like, oh, let's check it out, and then you can tell she's just like, this is over her head. But I know she'll be into it and give it like 2 years. And
Yeah, I watched. They have a Captain Underpants.
Mhm.
I loved the books when I was a kid, and they have like a show and like couple of movies and stuff. My nephew loved it, and I watched a couple with him. And yeah, like, you know, the whole idea of Captain Underpants is so ridiculous. The show's hilarious. Like,
Well,
it's really funny.
Speaking of like kids and parents sharing an animation, this Cuphead thing that's
Yeah,
happening, that's
yes.
coming in. Oh, so is Cuphead a video game and a show?
Yeah, so I think it started as a video game, and now Netflix is developing it into a show.
It's a reality show.
Is it a reality show?
Well, because the game is more or less like passing levels.
Yeah,
I've seen the
yeah.
game. The game is set in like 19. It looks like Walter Disney made the game.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
But like
the teacup.
this is it's looking like what you're saying, Lauren, is that there might be an emergence, not a reemergence, an emergence of that old Warner Brothers Looney Tunes adult humor laced with understandable sequences that kids can laugh at, so
Yeah.
both involved can, like, it looks like Netflix is kind of making that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Animaniacs are back. They have a new. I think they brought the show back with like new episodes and everything, and I think they got the original voice cast back. But yeah, like, I think they are kind of exactly what you guys are saying. Is they're trying to bring it so that parents have something to look forward to, as well as the kids have something to like rediscover.
Yeah.
Kind of thing like that. Like kind of how they're bringing back Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, right? It's like very much to the parents, but also kids can discover it with their parents. And like, why not? That's awesome.
Low hanging Prince Adam fruit,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
just low hanging. His balls are low.
Really fuzzy fruit.
That's Battle balls.
Yeah.
All right, so let's graduate up to what you and Aaron, or what you watch that does not have dinosaurs in general service.
No. Right now, we're up to date now. We've caught up completely for Handmaid's Tale.
Nice.
And
Nice.
that was intense. I had to stop watching it when my daughter was a little baby because it was giving me like crazy mom stress. Like I had to just be like, I need to rest when I'm sleeping and not think of like my daughter being taken from my arms. I need to, and I still feel that way, but I just feel a little more with it in the mom department now that I can.
Did you get into a fight with Aaron and be like, I'm not of Aaron, okay?
Yes. Pretty much.
I'm caught up to, actually, maybe I'm not caught up. I watched the episode. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead and I'll tell you where I am.
No, go ahead. It's just I stopped mid because it's in season 4 right now. I
Yes.
stopped at I think 2 episodes in of season 3. So I couldn't watch anymore. I had to take a break. I kind of got my sister just to tell me some spoilers because I'm like, I need to know what happens, but I can't like see it because I can't have that like postpartum
totally.
anxiety amped up. So I was like, you know what, I just need a break. And then now, we started watching it again. And so now it comes out, I think, on Wednesdays. So we just watched the episode 9.
Okay, I need to watch 8. So where I ended was her screaming at her
Serena.
Serena, screaming. Thank you, screaming at Serena, and like Shauna just shot up out of her chair and she was like, "Oh, this is the best shit ever."
It
Like
is. It
that
is.
performance in Elizabeth Moss, like you guys, I mean, to kind of give you a catch up without ruining the season if you ever want to watch it, it's at the point where a captor, Serena, is now captured, like she's been captured, and Elizabeth Moss, the handmaid, is freed.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Roles have reversed.
nice. And
Seven,
Elizabeth,
7 years in her time, okay, of rape, torture, mistreatment,
yeah,
abuse, finally now rescued, safe, and able to say her opinion. And Lauren can back me up on this. I don't know if there's ever been another performance where rage and anger has been conveyed so freakishly well.
she is an unbelievable. Like she's so
Actress,
talented,
yeah.
that actress. She's amazing.
Well, and also like the flip, I don't know if you caught it, but they did it in like the previously on Handmaid's Tale, which I find that's such an important part of the show to watch, even if you've watched all of them, because they kind of give you little like blips about what to watch for in this episode. I've noticed that from binge watching it. Like, and they did this scene where that same, like when she's like, "Do you understand me?" and like screams that at her.
Yeah.
Serena screamed that at her. I think it was like season 1 or season 2, and threw her on the ground and like got in her face, and basically was like spitting venom at her about like how we own you now, basically is what she's saying, like, "Do you understand me?" And then when it flips, it's just so vindicating and powerful and intense and amazing.
I haven't seen this, but just you describing it, it gave me chills just because I know how good of an actress she is, and I just know that it's probably such a powerful moment like to watch. So yeah, I know my girlfriend is obsessed with it, and I know it's amazing. I just like I have to give it the time to get into, but yeah, like it sounds unreal.
Well, it's like all series where it's like I find around episode 2 or 3 of each season kind of dips a bit.
Yes.
And then you're like, all right, I'm kind of looking at my phone, and then something will happen at the end of like episode 3 or the beginning of episode 4, and you're like, what? And then you have to like be locked in again. And if you like that speech of her screaming at Serena, then I think it's the next episode where she testifies.
Oh yeah.
And it's one shot. It's probably the longest monologue I've ever seen in recent memory on film, and it's one shot, and it's just her, and does probably I'm sure on paper it's like 6 or 7 pages of monologue. Like it's
Wow.
and it's amazing, and it's so because she's just giving testimony of what Fred Waterford did, and then you're going like, oh wow, oh yeah, that happened too. Like she almost recaps the series to you, and then you're also like, and then don't forget that, and then she does say it, and you're like, well, don't forget that, and then so it's great.
We're at it's Vindication Road for season 4 because it's not only her but like the everybody who's involved gets some sort of
redemption
change, redemption, closure, and they all kind of start like it's everybody who's been watching since season 4. Martin, like I know I removed you from our HBO account. I just was trying to fix something, so I'm gonna you can go back on now. But are you interested in watching it at all?
I'm actually on season 2. I had to take a break just because it's like it's hard to watch.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's really hard to watch as a binge show. I'm gonna go back into it because I know season 4 just dropped, but I mean I enjoyed it. It was just like watching it, I was just on my like gripping my chair the whole time, just like white knuckling it throughout the whole thing. But it's very well done. The everything you guys said is true. The acting's really well done. But yeah, this show is just it's not something that I can watch continuously. Like I have to break, but I'm probably gonna get back into it soon.
I found that like my cap, if I watched more than 2.5 episodes a day, I was like, and then Aaron was like, I'm having like really rage dreams, and I'm like, yeah, me too, kind of. But I'm like, but my rage dreams have like really good plots, so it's kind of like,
I gotta keep where it goes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wake up and write this shit down, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad this season is getting, like you guys said, this is a vindication season, right? So I'm glad like the one thing that I do like about shows and movies is like when characters are shitty and they get their comeuppance. That's what I love to see.
Yeah.
That's why a show like I'm glad this show's doing, because like a show that I wish that happened to was like Game of Thrones. Like I want the comeuppance in Game of Thrones, and everything that happened at the end of that was so unsatisfying. So if this show's doing that, yeah, it was just like what that I waited 8 seasons for that. Like that was so brutal. And then like that's why I'm glad for this one. I'm because like a lot of the characters are pretty shitty. Like you're just like, I just can't wait till they get what's coming to them. And if that's coming up, like I'm more excited to get back into it and watch it again.
Well, and I like how they've made the characters have arcs positive and negative. So it's like you see the good, weirdly, you'll see good in Serena or good in Aunt Lydia, or weird kindness that is like sandwiched between horror. And then it's like, I was saying to Aaron actually the other day when we were watching, it's like, it's just such interesting writing because they're not being like, this is the bad guy and this is the good guy. It's like, even June has to be bad sometimes to, and then it's like this whole debate. It's like, oh, it just throws you all over the place because you're going like, yeah, I guess sometimes you do have to be brutal because that's what nature is.
She's right about that, because they do play in season 4 with the choices that June makes, save people and the pressure that she's under. And she is forced to make some seriously dark decisions, but they ultimately have some sort of good in them. But Lauren's right. Like, she has to break bad to solve a problem because you're fighting this totalitarian religious sect of people who just don't get it. Like, they're just absolutely atrocious dicks, even to the point where like Serena now has a chance. I don't want to ruin too much for Martin and you guys, but like, she has a chance at whatever, but she still goes low and goes back to her like original. And it's just like, how have you not realized at this point that you're just like June? You're just like June.
Well, and I like shows like this because it's a complete study of human behavior, right? And it's like what you were saying, Lauren, like the nature and how if your environment changes, how that changes you completely, right? And this whole society does I know a little bit about the show, but it's like society has done a complete reverse, right? And it's like and what I like about that too is that when you guys were saying the negative and the positive, and even like it's not clean cut, like these are the bad guys, these are the good guys. What I love about that is that's so human because it's perspective. Because people are always put in situations where from a perspective it's seen as a really bad thing. But if you see it from a different perspective, it's like survival. So it's not a bad or good thing. It's like they did what they had to. You know what I mean? So I just like that it makes you think so much. And the fact that you guys are telling me that you've had to stop watching it because it's like not an easy watch. To me, it's just like it's just one of those shows where I don't know who the talent, like who the collective team is, but everybody is on this project that needs to be because it's perfectly done. You know, and like clearly
it's Margaret Atwood.
Oh, so there you go, right?
She's
like,
exec producing.
Oh,
so
that's unreal. Yeah.
Her baby as a book.
Yeah.
They were like, Lauren,
I love that they did that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Lauren. Season 1 is book. Season 2, 3, and 4 are not book.
No, but she was consulted on. She apparently Margaret. I don't know if this is true, and maybe somebody out there knows this, but I heard that Margaret Atwood did write or begin to write a sequel to Handmaid's Tale, like the book in the 80s. And I don't know if it ever, or if it just came out as like a short story or something, but it just kind of circulated.
It came out.
It did. Yeah. And so, so this is kind of going beyond that, but I think it's neat too, because Elizabeth Moss directs, at least that I've seen, 3 of the episodes this season.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's really cool. And even like what you're talking about, the perspective, I started watching this before I became a mother, and then I watched it after. And that in itself, watching it, and even Aaron, like as a parent, like you're watching this and you're going, I like even Aaron, well, we've seen there, I'm like, if this happened and we got separated, I want you to know that I would kill people to get Emmy back. Like I would.
Yeah.
I absolutely would if I had to, if it got to that point, to get my daughter back and to protect her from that situation. It probably would happen. So you just have to know that about me. And he's like, yeah, I do. And I would do the same thing. And it's like, I'm not a murderer. I am not a violent person in any way, but there is like stakes that they put it out there where you're like, if your child is death, like it is, there's just no. Like,
so the show like challenges you, right?
It does.
It really, that's awesome.
It's super challenging and it's stressful, which is why I had to, like, even talking about it, I can feel myself being like, I gotta take a break.
Okay. All right. Which is a perfect time.
There you go.
Segue. In tradition with the show, as much as there's so many other things like I'm getting a little teary eyed because I know there's a scene that we've both seen, and it just fine.
Yeah.
When they meet, when husband and wife meet again, and she apologizes.
I know.
I broke right down.
Me too.
I was like, that is the last thing you need to do right now. Anyways.
But I would feel the same way. And
right? Yeah. Because now you're with,
I know.
Tears
love it.
40-year-old bitch.
I love it.
Okay, so
I gotta watch this.
how many white bonnets out of 10?
Ooh. Of this season or the whole series?
This season so far.
Yeah, I would say it's probably 8.
Hey.
8 bonnets.
8 bonnets.
8 bonnets and a half.
Nice.
And 1 eye patch.
One
There you
eye That's amazing. I love
Yeah.
it. Charles, you'll get that one day. That'll make you laugh like
Oh,
2 months from now.
I was gonna say I don't care how long it takes. I'm gonna message you guys at like 4 o'clock in the morning and be like, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. You have a bunch of new shit to check out, and we all do too. I mean, Martin's got this. Like, I'm gonna go watch this after. I'm gonna go clean my
Yeah.
garage, and I'm gonna
These
go check
also
out.
great. These are all great
Yeah.
picks this week.
I keep saying it. He deserves it. All my love of animation is due to Martin. He keeps selling me on shit each week. I keep checking it out, and the next thing you know, that's all. Like my algorithm, Martin, because I watched Castlevania, is like everything that looks like Castlevania on
Yeah.
Netflix. It's great. Like I just go, oh, new animated show. Oh, new animated show, and it's every one of them look the same. They look like that '90s animation, which is perfect. So, without further ado, the reason we all gathered on this lovely afternoon is to debate for you, ladies and gentlemen. So, Martin, you want to help me out with this one? Wherever I forget to fit in, you will.
You've got a pretty good explanation, but yeah, if I'll chime in if there's anything that's missing.
I should just start reading from my phone. Like,
Yeah, like what you explained on the phone was fine. Like that was a good explanation of what the topic was this week.
No, I always try to wing this shit because I'm like, yeah, I'm a pro. I work a sales job 40 hours a week, but I'm a pro at winging shit. So let me just bring it up here. So me and Martin, as always, gather in a chat room and go, what are we going to debate this week? What are we going to debate this week? And Martin usually comes up with the, have we done this? Have we done that? And I go, no. And then that's how it starts.
Nice.
So Martin asked, have we done theme parks? I said, no, we haven't done theme parks yet. Because there's like 70 that are written down that I don't even know anymore. Like I just go back to the list and I'm like, oh, we came up with that idea?
Yeah.
Let's do that. So, no, we didn't do theme parks. So the easiest way to do theme parks is to obviously make a fucking theme park inspired by one of your favorite TV shows or movies, right? And that's literally what Universal Studios is. That's what Galaxy's Edge is. That's what Disney, like it's all like the Star Wars ride in Disneyland is like, they should just have a full, or no, it's Universal Studios if we're being accurate, but it's taking that and amplifying it and making everything about it. So that is what we are debating for you this week, ladies and gentlemen. So if you like roller coasters, if you like big turkey legs, if you like losing your child and trying to find it in a melee of 100,000 people, then this one's for you. Here's the rules. All right. So I started off with a little bit of a blurb here. It says, Disneyland and Six Flags can't have all the fun. Inspired by movies like Adventureland with Ryan Reynolds is the only one I can remember. Jesse Eisenberg, Ryan Reynolds, and what's her face from Twilight? Kristen
Stewart.
Kristen Stewart. Thank you, Wikipedia. At least we look like we know what we're talking about. And theme parks around the world, we decided to make the perfect one and figure out which one will kill the least amount of children. And I knew how to bypass that just by making a park not for children. So that's how I made sure I was like, nope, 18 and older. Actually, I think you might have to be 25 for mine. So pick a TV show or a movie. Build a theme park around it. Everything you can pull from for the theme, the story, the characters, and the canon can come from your pick. You must include one ride, one experience, one midway, one open venue / concert, right? Like at the Red River X or something where like, I don't know, like 3 Days Grace is performing on the stage or something.
Yeah.
Right?
3 Days Grace.
I don't know. Like some band that hasn't seen the fucking
Our Lady Peace.
Why was it always 3? Like there was 3 doors down, 3
Yeah.
days. Like what's with it? I don't get it. And there was always a 5-piece band. I don't understand.
Yeah, if you're gonna stick with your name, bass, drums, guitar. Don't be 7 pieces into three. It's just fucking everybody up.
Yeah.
Call Lauren.
Thanks.
So build it using everything you can from your experience already at said theme park, and may the best engineered rides and fun win. So Lauren, I always go first to get it out of the way because I usually fuck something up or forget something. So it's easy just to get me out of the way, and then we run the rest of the show where you guys entertain everybody. So I will bring up my notes here. Let's go to my Google Drive. And yeah, it's easier to read than it is to actually look into the camera. So I'm not looking at any of you guys anymore. I'm done staring you in the face and talking to you like a proper adult.
Fair enough.
All right. So as of this morning, we finally came up with the name of my park. So first off, what is it inspired by? This one took a minute because I was actually thinking theme park.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always in like some sort of competition with Martin because Martin goes hard in the paint and comes up with these really great ideas. So I was like, this one I know is going to be like, we're going to have some tit for tat. So we'll see if I can. I always just try to charm him. I try to charm him into my. Like, I'm always like, would Martin come to this park? Would Martin like this day? Like that's my inspiration. So first of all,
It's great.
It's not hard to please me. I'm a man of simple taste. I love donuts and tacos. Those are if you got those in your park, I'm going to it.
That's my theme park.
fortunately, there's no food, but there is There's two menus on the item. But all right. So first of all, my park is inspired by the classic Benicio del Toro, Johnny Depp movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, directed by the fantastic Terry Gilliam. Little backstory: that's actually Johnny Depp moved in with Hunter S. Thompson to shave his head and get incredibly fucked up for a couple weeks. And so that's how they kind of got to know each other. And then that's how Johnny Depp developed his character of Raoul Duke. So first of all, the entrance to the park is going. You need an entrance. You can't get into the park without it, right? So fuck like your ticket gate. Do you remember the carousel that they try to get off of from doing Ether?
Yeah.
So that's the entrance to the park. So you pay, but the ride has been like padded up. So and it's going like 3 times fast. So you get a little dizzy, you get a little spinny, kind of like you're on Ether, and you have to migrate your way through this carousel to get into the park. All right. It's based on, like I said, Raoul Duke could not get in after due to, I believe, sniffing too much ether. So with the movie and the padded spin environment, which goes just a little too fast, you can't get into the park until you get off the carousel. Our food will be what fucking food? The only thing I saw in the movie were grapefruits and ketchup packets. That's the only 2 food items I saw in the entire, and that was in the party scene in the hotel. So we're going to have boxed grapefruit juice and packets of ketchup. All right. Now, I can already tell you guys are looking at me. Where are we going with this? Why is this park so shitty all of a sudden? Its inspired theme is a adult theme park for your weekend drug pleasure. Okay? If you want to get fucked up, if you want to get off the rails, so to speak, for a weekend of fun.
Well, you're gonna get on the rails, Mike, not off.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, you're right.
You would get on the rails.
So that's why we have a very dingy park.
Mm-hmm.
Its design is actually built on the old destructed Riviera Hotel. And by built, I mean they took parts of the hotel and built the theme park out of it because we really didn't have a fucking budget. Park staff will be all the background characters dressed up. Mm-hmm. So you'll have the old man and the wife who are screaming at the hotel clerk. They'll just be screaming at people throughout the park. You'll have the guy doing the drug conference handing out fake joints, right?
Right.
Lacerda, the cameraman that they get into a fight, he'll be taking pictures for $5 of people. These will be you will be in Fear and Loathing Land, otherwise known as fucking Bat Country. That is the title of the park. Now, every park has rides and they have lineups, right? Rides can sometimes take up to 3 fucking hours. So before we get into the bulk of this, I just want to let you know that while you're waiting to experience anything in my park, when you get in, you get a drug case. And there's secret parts around the park that have little vials of Coke, little vials of LSD. And you get to go and collect your own suitcase of pleasure to spend at fucking Bat Country. So you put one friend in line and then you go, okay, go find that vial of Coke. And then you get a stamp. And then at the end of it, you get a prize. I don't know what the prize is, but you get a prize for Coke. The prize is getting fucked up. That's my prize.
Right, it's more Coke.
So that's the lay of the land for everything. That's what you're going to experience, right? Now, the ride has been titled Raoul and Gonzo's Zipper Express Extreme. So I took the zipper and I've created a 4K immersive experience. This is not your mom's zipper. Instead of just putting you in a cage and flipping you around, we've added 4K video screens to create a 4-dimensional ride that plays the soundtrack from the movie, which is fucking epic, and goes through a list of multimedia rushes of scents like an old casino, sounds like what a woman fucking a polar bear really sounds like, and images from the movie. So as you flip, you might have a scent of old cigarette smell and casino come at you, right? And then Raoul Duke fucking with you. Now, you can be high if you want on this ride. If you've already gone and found the vial of cocaine and it's in your drug case, feel free to come on this ride and get fucked up. You won't know what end is up. And if you... This is my catchphrase for the ride. You won't know what end is up, or if you want from a kiss from Gary Busey at the end. My experience is called It's a Mad Mescaline World Hotel Room Experience. $200 gets you a 6-hour timeline. Micro hit of acid or mushrooms dosed out in a cocktail. A mock-up of the actual hotel room at the end of the movie will be set up for you. You have from the time that you start peeking till the end of your experience to trash the hotel room to your delight. A video camera will be set up to record your experience for a keepsake. As I mentioned, this park is 18 and older, and you have to sign a waiver. You can't get away with this shit without signing a waiver, ladies and gentlemen. And then cooling fans and hammocks will be provided for a cool-down session once you are out.
Oh, God.
Your drug of choice, whatever you prefer, will have a litany of things for you to pick from. Again, waiver must be signed. We're not in the business of creating overdoses. We're just overdosing on fun. Thirdly, we have my midway game. This is to honor Lucy. Do we all remember Lucy?
Yeah.
Lucy was the fan of Barbra Streisand.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I have come up with a game. It's based on the dart balloon system where you throw a dart. And it's called Jesus or Barbra Streisand because she was a Jesus freak and loved Barbra Streisand.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can get this right. It's the balloon pop game, a throwback to Arlen or the Carnies of yesteryears. You're given 10 darts. There's 10 balloons. Underneath the balloons is a picture of Jesus or Barbra Streisand. You have to bet which one it is. Okay. If you nail all 10 balloons and guess right, you get a large prize. All right. Minimum of 5 balloons have to be hit to get any prize. Right. But 10 balloons gets you large, 5 balloons get you small. Losers will actually have to endure a kiss from Gary Busey if they bet wrong. Winners will get a hit of acid to take home with you and your painting to trip balls over whenever you like. Lastly, my open venue, my event, my concert, my thing to watch, so to speak, is the Mint 400 360 Showdown. If we remember, Raul Duke and Gonzo were sent to Vegas to cover the Mint 400 bike race.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't do too much research, but there's not much work for retired bike racers out there. So, you know that bike dome that you can see bike guys riding in? Like 4 at a time where they do flips and shit?
Yeah.
So I've done that, but in the middle of it, I've got maybe Johnny Depp and Raul Duke, or maybe Johnny Depp as Raul Duke and Del Toro as Dr. Gonzo, or maybe it's just people dressed up as them, but they're fucking around in the middle, right? They're just creating this like air of suspense, right? So the bikes are flipping around. The cool part is this is an immersive experience. So for $350, we'll give you a bike and you can hop inside and flip around all you want. Again, must sign a waiver. Ladies and gentlemen, that is fucking Bat Country. That is my debate. I will give the floor to our very special guest first to give me whatever she feels, whatever notes I need to make this park work. Lauren, please tell me. What'd you think?
Well, I just feel like one crucial thing that you're going to run into is you're going to need quite the cleaning staff if the only food available is ketchup packets and grapefruit. So, because I just have this feeling, just this deep instinct that does not pair well with spinny, fucked up rides and hallucinogenics. So you're probably going to have a great park cleanup crew.
Like I didn't think to include a game of dodge the puke pile.
Yeah, something like that. Like I grew up in Calgary, and one of the jobs that people used to get when they turned like 14 is you could be a stampede cleanup crew, and you just came around with those like McDonald's brooms and like sweep stuff up. I just feel like you could have some fun there with somebody. Something.
Yeah. No, I didn't even think. Yeah, because you know what? That's a lot of like grapefruit creates a lot of stomach acid.
Yeah.
So
and smell.
Yeah.
I really feel like your park might have a real distinct odor.
Gonna smell like that one pukey spot in every bar in the world.
Yeah. It's just sticky. Like your shoes are just gonna be sticky all the time.
That's so annoying after a while, right? You're like, what am I continuing to step in? All right, fair enough. I did not consider consumption to be just drug consumption. That's all I really considered, as you can tell. But that was the only real thing I could come up with was like a drug-addled theme park that was built on a decrepit old hotel, because that's exactly what Fear and Loathing is. It's a decrepit ride through an old hotel. Anything you liked about it at all? Would you want to go to my theme park?
I would. You know who I think would really like it? Cokehead Anthony. I think he'd have a great time.
Powdered sugar French toast.
Yeah. powdered sugar.
He's
That
the
could be your
Gordon.
food. He could be the food supplier and just have a lot of powdered sugar French toast and waffles.
French toast.
Because then it's like it's bread, right? So it soaks some stuff up. You might have a little
Totally.
longevity in your guests.
Yeah, like I mean, I planned all this out, but I didn't think about retention. Like I think when someone shows up for my experience, they're just gonna be like, I need to go the fuck home.
But you know what? I think there's a market for it. There'd be people who would be there in a flash.
I know 3 of them who are on this podcast right now, and one of them is not you. So
Yeah, there you go.
fair enough. Okay, I dig it. I dig it. I'll wait till the end to retort if I have to, but I can take my lashings like an adult. Martin, you go next.
Well, one thing I did like.
You. This was for you.
Yeah, no, I'll start with the positives. I like how you brought all the characters in from the movie into your theme park, which is great. That gets a check mark. I like your name, Bat Country, because that's where you're going is Bat Country.
Yeah.
I really like the acid trip hotel ride. It kind of reminds me of those, those rooms you can rent where you can just destroy furniture and dishes and stuff. I think that would be fun and very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Now for the negatives.
Positives. That was a short list.
First off, where is this park going to open? Is it going to be in a multiverse where shit like this can be legal, where you can get a suitcase full of drugs and not get tossed in jail? Because I would like to find out where this place exists and go to it.
All right.
Your entrance, I just have to ask, Mike, do you have to have a high level of coordination to get into your park? Because that sounds like a nightmare waiting to happen. I don't think you can even get into your own park because of your Achilles. The entrance just sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen. And I mean, you're signing a waiver, but even then, like, I don't know how you're going to have enough money for lawyers for that. I also had the same idea with Lauren in terms of your park is going to smell a lot like vomit. There's no way around that. That's what it's going to smell like. Are you just going to have sawdust everywhere on the floor to cover everything? Because that's probably what you're going to need to do. Yeah, exactly. And I have a question for you, Mike. How do you keep people from your park from dying with a suitcase full of drugs?
You just sign a waiver. I'm not responsible. That's what I kept saying. Waiver.
You can't just say sign a waiver and that's it. So I feel like your park will be open for one day. Half your guests would die, and then that's the end of it. And I'll just say this: will I go to your park? Yes, I will be there for sure. And I wanted to end with this, Mike. Do you secretly want to kiss Gary Busey? Because you brought that up a few times.
I was like, I couldn't figure out where to put him, but he's such a pivotal character when you were like, whenever you talk about the movie, you're like, the Gary Busey kiss scene on the side of the highway while he goes for land crab is like such a pointless scene in the movie, but so funny. So I was like, how do I include Gary Busey kissing? Well, that should always be a negative. Like if you always fuck something up or lose, you should, because no one enjoys a Gary Busey kiss. Like, I mean, that's a universally unloved thing.
Gary Busey enjoys a Gary Busey kiss.
True.
Yeah.
Very true. I'm sure.
I like your park, Mike. I'd go to it. I just fear for the rest of the world.
Yes.
Because what's your capacity? Like probably like a few thousand people. Imagine a few thousand people on acid, cocaine, methamphetamines, heroin,
Get away from me!
whatever. I like every drug on the planet. Like it's just that's a nightmare waiting to happen. But if it was me and you going to this park, it would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. No, we would.
And I feel like it would be legal in the state of Utah for some reason. Like it would just be okay there. They always have weird.
Florida or Utah.
Mm-hmm. They always have weird, like, tax breaks and
I would.
Things you can do.
And like funneling said drugs in, like I didn't after. I mean, I'm throwing myself under the bus here, but I didn't really think about how many drug cartels I would have.
Oh, you got to do it locally sourced, Mike. Locally sourced Utah drugs.
Sorry. Okay.
Oh my
all right.
God, yeah, that's right.
Don't go to the big guy. Don't go to the Walmart drug.
You gotta go to the
kingpin.
local supplier.
Okay, I got it.
Support local only.
Yeah.
Support local.
Support local, man.
Oh yeah.
Support that bathtub MDMA that we all love.
And not get only grown Utah, Oh.
Okay, no, Martin, I agree actually with everything that you said. I really don't have much in the way of a retort.
But I love your park, Mike. I'll go to it with you. I'm there. Day one.
Day one, VIP, after dark, me and you. That's it.
Yeah.
The full
Actually, no. Let's go before it opens because I want to go before the puke. Let's go before the puke.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Lauren down, Martin down, Charles. You're what do you think of my?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like
You named it.
Lauren and Martin made very good points. I definitely would want to come to the park. Bottom line is, I definitely would want to come visit. I would definitely make it more so like my plan. Like if it was my last day on Earth, fucking going to your park, because that's the place to do it.
My park is made for Make-A-Wish children.
Yeah, like, I definitely would expect to go into your park and not leave it. Is the idea I had?
Yeah.
I will
Just cozy up in some sawdust. And your life.
I do love me a good briefcase of drugs. I mean, why not, right? Like who isn't down to party? The only thing is, like I mean, the waiver form alone is a fucking nightmare to sign. It's at least 180 pages for sure.
It's your problem, not mine.
So that's the only other thing, but it'd be, the other thing too is that you're definitely going to have ODs. It's how you're going to hide those ODs. Because I don't know if I want to be on acid.
I'm just gonna keep
You
signing.
can't just say sign a waiver. You can't just say sign a waiver. That's it.
Yeah. So, Lauren, I think you're right. It definitely has to be in Utah because I feel like America's the only place where they're like, if they sign the waiver, they signed the waiver. Like, it's the only place where that waiver form is gonna fucking work for sure in your favor. Yeah, I'm also just a little nervous if there's any just like junkies. Like it just attracts some junkies.
No, we have a 60-point verification process. You book months in advance. We do a personal history check.
You have to be clean before you get in.
Yeah, I want to be responsible for your downfall in society. I don't want to be helping you stay down. Like
right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking for people with a future to throw it away in my park.
I have a question, Mike.
Okay, go ahead.
So you're gonna leave clean, but exit an addict.
Yes,
That's basically the theme of your park.
Anything else?
No, yeah, that was it. I would definitely visit your park though, for sure.
I like it. I dig it. Thanks, guys. I feel better about my park already. Our country. All right.
It's a fun time for a small number of people, like 6 guests max. That's what I would put in your park, not thousands. 6 guests max to really, really enjoy it.
My park is just turned down to a piece of property somewhere backcountry of Vegas, like in the middle of the desert.
It's like one of those highway stops.
Yeah,
those highway attractions.
Do you know where? Do you know where
4 miles ahead?
My park is in the Neon Sign Museum in Las Vegas. That's where.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we got 1 down, 3 to go. We're gonna let Lauren go last. As always, we give our guests the most attention and care. We give the talent all the attention, guys. So, Martin, you go second because I have been waiting for a Western Town theme park to exist, and I can't wait to hear what you have in store.
Okay, so I'll just start with this. The Coen brothers, bored of just doing movies. So in 2028, near Del Rio, Texas, they will be opening up a new theme park called Sugar's Recreation and Amusement Center, a theme park based on the movie No Country for Old Men. So, like Mike, this will be an mainly kind of adults attraction, like mainly adults for theme park, maybe 17 plus. But if parents have kids, they can bring their kids as long as they're supervised. The theme park, I think, in like Coen Brothers movie kind of, it'll be more of a thriller kind of spectrum to that side.
Got it.
The main attraction will be a roller coaster based on the weapon the villain uses in the show. The Captive Bolt Stunner is the name. You'll be going up through that tube that carries the compressed air used to fire the bolt gun in the initial descent or ascent. Once you get into the chamber where the bolt is found, you will be launched at a downward motion into a structure that looks like a big cow's head. And then you'll be pulled back out. Sorry, I started at a very dark note on this one.
Okay, got it.
So in one of the things that I wanted to mention while you're waiting in line for this, before you go on the roller coaster, you know how they have like, that you have to be this tall to ride it? So instead of that, there will be a U.S. border agent asking you questions like he did with Josh Brolin's character.
Yeah.
Trying to get in across from the Mexico border. So you'll have a U.S. agent, customs agent, giving you like harassing you before you go on the ride, before you get in.
You fighting the war, son?
Yeah. who makes the decision? You do. Who makes the decisions to get in? You do, sir.
You do, sir.
I wanted to talk about food.
Entrance to a park.
So I wanted to talk about food. Other than the usual, like carnival kind of theme park foods like hot dogs and burgers. One thing that I would have liked, and I think, if Llewellyn didn't die, he would have opened up Llewellyn's barbecue joint. That'll be one of the main restaurants, kind of food joints in the park. So since the movie is set in Texas, one of the most popular foods in Texas is barbecue, which is why I picked the barbecue joint. The building itself will be modeled after the Eagle Rock Hotel, which is the second hotel Josh Brolin's character stays in, like kind of like that old-timey mansion.
That fancy. He's on that.
Yeah, so it'll be similar, kind of, think of it this way for people from Winnipeg. It'll be similar to like 529 Wellington, where the dining room will be everything in the house. So you'll have the main kitchen area, main dining room area, but you'll also have each individual room will be privatized dining rooms for guests to eat at. So, and the one thing I also wanted to bring up was another ride that we have. So before I say that, but you know how in the movie, the villain always kind of appears where you least expect him? Like he's always hidden. Like he always comes up at the most weird places. So the next ride will be similar to a haunted mansion, but it'll be called Anton Sugar's House. So you'll walk through this kind of haunted mansion, and each room will be a hidden Anton who is ready to pop out and hit you with like a blast of compressed air, like the cattle gun, just to kind of scare you.
That's good.
And in the theme park, you know how you have people in like the Disneyland or Universal, like they're dressed up as famous characters. Like in Disneyland, for example, you can take pictures with Mickey Mouse or your favorite Disney princess.
Yeah.
At this theme park, we'll have multiple Anton Sugars dressed up and walking around that you can take pictures with. He will randomly approach a guest and do that speech about calling the heads or tails, right? And he'll be like, you'll be like, well, what do I have to risk? And then he's like, well, it's gonna be everything and nothing. And if you win, he'll give you a replica of the coin that he uses from 1958.
Cool.
I like that.
And Disneyland has a lot of Disneyland and other theme parks have a lot of hotels attached to them. So our hotel will be the Del Rio Regal Motel, which is the one they have in the movie, the first hotel kind of that Josh Brolin's character stays at, where the motel entrance or the entrance to each room has a parking lot, is the parking lot. And just some bonus stuff that it's not really it's part of my argument, but not really. But so for future things that I had in mind for this park were park expansions, because like stuff like Disneyland's always constantly evolving, they're always changing their rides. So at Sugar's amusement park, it won't stop at No Country for Old Men. We'll also have a place called Raising Arizona Child Care Center. So it's themed to more of the our younger clientele. Like parents bring their kids, we'll have like rides like bumper cars, but instead of the actual classic look of bumper cars, they'll be like old Chevy and Fords from like the 70s, late 70s, early 80s. That'll be the theme of the cars.
Yep.
We'll also have a big Lebowski expansion, very bowling kind of based kind of theme of that land. We'll even have the replica of the original bowling alley from the movie, the Hollywood Star Lanes, things like that. But yeah, well, I'm also thinking there'll be kind of like a Fargo kind of based Winterland expansion as well. But yeah, that's my argument. That's what I had for this theme park. Very Coen Brothers kind of movie inspired.
All right, let me go first. I want to go first. So positives. I was sitting here almost biting my nails, hoping for fucking Christ you would include a coin, and you did. That is so clutch for me, because that is such a key scene to give you who Anton is and how fucking sociopathic he is.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you've got a character experience happening like Mickey Mouse and Goofy and all that shit, choice. I love the universe you're building. I love the fact that, yes, Universal Studios takes King Kong, takes Jurassic Park, takes The Simpsons, takes Men in Black. The only theme park I've ever been to, which is only 2 years ago, is still fresh in my mind. So I get what you're doing. I Raising Arizona Childcare.
Fuck, that's good.
That is literally one of the best marketing ideas I've ever heard, because people have probably Arizona, right? The name of the daughter. So like, so fucking brilliant. My only fear, my only real negative, well, there's two, but one of them I'm just like making up because I have to. But the real one is Anton is like, that's one of, what's his name? It's eluding me right now. Javier Bardem.
Yeah, have you ever done?
Easily one of his most impactful characters ever done. The PTSD that would come from that room alone, though, with him coming up behind you, blasting up, I would never be able to have somebody blow ear in my ear ever again. Like, that would just leave me too fucking wrecked. And the other thing, and only because I thought it would be funnier, not a bad thing, but I thought the cow's anus would be funnier instead of the cow's mouth when you're going in the roller coaster.
But that's how you're killing the cow, right? With a gun, you kill it through that's how they use it. It shoots it through the head. So that's why I wanted to keep a bit of realism, Mike. And you're signing a waiver for your other one. You're signing a waiver.
That waiver, baby.
That waiver, I tell you. Just need a waiver, an NDA or a waiver. Everything fucking. But yeah, that's yeah. I love the universe though. The universe building is great because that's exactly what every theme park does. They tear down, they build, they create, they expand. Right? It's Vegas playground. So delicious.
Well, a lot of it, Mike, was when you told me about the new. I haven't been to. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, Lauren, and I haven't been to the new one yet. So a lot of this idea came from Mike telling me his experience when he went down to Disney World in Florida and went to the actual Star Wars land and told me all the cool attractions and cool things that you can see while waiting. So that's where a lot of this kind of debate style came from.
That. I would love to go there too. That's where we are.
Oh, you guys.
So we'll all go.
Yeah, we'll all go.
We'll tell you about it, Mike, because I need to go too.
Let me help you plan it, because we found a tiny house community that we stayed at for 4 days.
Oh,
so it's a trailer park of tiny houses. And
it's where the stormtroopers stay.
Yeah, exactly. It's where, yeah.
No, the Ewoks. It's tiny houses.
That's awesome.
Ewoks and stormtroopers don't always get. The Ewoks are trying to get like they eat the outfit. It doesn't work well. But, Lauren, what do you think about?
Okay.
World Men?
So I also really like the character experience of it. I feel like, though, I don't know if anybody's ever been to Disneyland, but when I didn't go until I was 17, and we went with all of my sister, my little cousins and everything. So I got to kind of like live vicariously through them with the little kid thing. But anyways, the character experience where they had the like sword in the stone, and if you pulled the sword out of the stone, then you got this like special like VIP treatment. And I don't know what it was because it was always like elusive, but I feel like you're when he gets the heads or tails speech, there should be, and then when he breaks it down, like if you're chosen, then that means you get some sort of like next level thing. And also I appreciate as a parent the Raising Arizona Child. That's great. And then when you started expanding into the universe, I was thinking about, I don't have any critiques. It just makes me think of like, oh, this is a good idea too. But when you're talking about like the Coen brothers, like universe, when you could do the Fargo, I thought like you don't have, I didn't hear you say if there's like a water park attachment. So I thought you could have Fargo that's like an opening, like a giant wood chipper. And then it just blasts water out, and then a person shoots out at the bottom, like those big like
yeah,
like the toilet bowl water slides where you like spin all the way down, like that kind of thing. But everything else I loved. It was great.
Thank you.
He's a world builder, that Martin.
I love it.
Like he knows, like fucking Marvel, hire this motherfucker. Make your movies funnier and help you build a universe while at the same time. Kevin Feige, we know you're listening. All right, Charles.
Martin, you killed it again, man. I mean, I love it. It was so good. And yeah, especially when you got to the character experience, I thought of exactly, because I know exactly what you're talking about with, like, Michael told me the stories, like, Vader or like stormtroopers will question if you're with the Rebel Alliance to just random people and stuff. So I love that. I think that's so good. I think, the only negative I can think of was, that would be the most horrifying experience to go through that horror room with fucking Anton just pumping. Oh, dude. I would fucking clock whatever robotic thing is spraying the air at you or whatever, and then I would cry. Like, it would destroy me. But it was, it's great. It's great. Honestly, and I'm just like in this mindset of kind of like what Lauren was saying. I'm now just thinking about what a Coen Brothers theme park could be. I thought it'd be interesting if like a timeout, like if people are getting too rowdy or whatnot, is like the Fargo area, and it's just like you're just in like a cold kind of room to cool off.
No,
And it's like the timeout area to just
here's the timeout area. You have to go sit through a sales pitch
yeah.
about the true coat on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
car from William H. Macy's character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And
that's good. True coat.
the lower end motel, like they can have the higher end. The lower end motel is that one that Buscemi and them stay
Storm
in.
Air stay
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
hookers.
that's the lower end motel there, like the cheaper motel rooms. Yeah.
Oh.
No, great man, you killed it. Absolutely. Like, yeah, it was. I definitely would go to your park too, man.
True coat. It's all about the true coat. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Charles, we're at the halfway point. How do you feel? Do you feel you can top the 2 that you've been given so far?
Oh man, you guys brought your A game. I love it.
I know. I brought a waiver.
I love how the waiver is the game changer. I mean, I wrote it for my park too.
It will never work again. It's like a one-time thing. Like
I
if
think that's the title for the show. You must sign a waiver.
you must sign
Must sign waiver. Yeah.
a waiver. All right, Charles,
Okay.
lead us into this.
All right. Yeah. So my park, going with the consistent theme, it's definitely a park for adults. I don't think there's any kind of kid experience at my park. I decided to base my park on Foo Bar, which is a good Canadian classic. So I took it from Foo Bar 1, 2, and they made a TV show in recent years.
Really?
Yeah. Instead of doing a third movie, they made like a TV show through Vice. Actually, I guess Vice was dipping into like original programming and stuff. So
For what, a month?
Yeah. And one of the best things that came out of it was the Foo Bar thing. So I dipped out of all of that. But yeah, basically, so the name of my park, it's nothing original, but it gets to the point. It's just Foo Bar Land,
I know where I'm going.
Exactly, right? You know what you're kind of expecting. It's so from the minute you enter the park, you are completely transported to like the bush, in the middle of like this beautiful, nice, rustic kind of park. So the idea I had was like Birds Hill Park. So you got to go to Birds Hill to get into the theme park of it, kind of thing like that. What's it called? So the park are for those who want to party and celebrate a lesser known Canadian lifestyle and really just want to fucking give her. If you want to give her, this park is for you. Yeah. You wake up and you're like, I fucking want to give her today, then you're coming to our park for sure. Diener and Terry are the main inspiration for your whole experience of the park. So it's really just catered to what those guys would love and endure. So we offer a lot of food and drink options, but the signature things in the park is we have a signature Pilsner fountains located all throughout the park.
Pills like water fountains.
Straight up, yeah. It's just Pilsner going for you. And then we have Canadian classic fried bologna kiosks. So, again, we offer other food options, but that's one of the signature ones. The main attraction is the roller coaster experience, Escape the Mac.
The Mac is at Fort Mac.
Yeah. So you and your partner, you basically are on these ridiculous kind of like car, like your coaster cart looks like a car, and you're just escaping Fort McMurray, and you're driving through the devastating wildfire, and you're surviving the way that Diener and Terry did. They are survivors of the Fort Mac fire, so it's kind of teaching you a little bit of history, but also giving you an insane roller coaster ride at the same time.
I get it.
It's fast, it's unpredictable, and it's blowing spouts of fire at you. And the tagline is, "Can you escape the Mac?" One of the main experiences at Foo Bar Land is the wine blindness experience. So believe it or not, wine blindness is a thing, and they've experienced. So think of an escape room with an extreme twist. You drank some cherry wine way too early in the fermentation process, and you're blind, so you're in a pitch black room. So you have to follow the clues and listen to Diener's sonar to escape the pitch black room of despair. So for those of you that don't know, Diener, he is an amazing musician, and he can hit really high notes. Yes, exactly. And he uses it as sonar when he gets wine blind to figure out where he's going and how to get around. So you get to experience that and what that would be like.
So hang on. Let me just clarify for everybody. You go into a room.
Yeah.
You drink way too early fermented wine.
Yeah.
You go blind.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
scream to
Yeah,
bounce
and then,
off the walls
well,
to find it.
Diener starts screaming at you, and there's clues, and you got to listen,
Oh.
and you have to navigate using that around and whatnot.
Okay.
So the idea is like we basically would give you like Mountain Dew, and you drink Mountain Dew, and then we would put like basically like drunk goggles and a blindfold over that, essentially. So you're just in a real state of being fucked up. So your only real guide is listening to the audio clues. You got to feel around and stuff. Because if those of you that haven't seen in the show, they drink cherry wine that is way too early in the fermentation process, and they go temporarily blind. And Diener gets stuck in the walls, like he gets stuck in the foundation. So he's using sonar to navigate around because he can't see. I just thought, yeah, that'd be a fun little twist on an escape room for you.
See you in an hour.
Yeah, exactly, right?
An hour. That's very. That's not a lot of time.
And the nice thing is, given the circumstances, the room isn't that big, so you're going to be in there for a while. And if you get out, that's great. The most popular midway game of the whole park it's called Double Liner. So basically, what it is we have just a regular road with your standard lane dividing lines on the road, and basically in the middle of the road you have the double line, which is the no passing symbol. So basically you have crushed up beer cans and you're trying to throw them, and whoever gets closest or on the double liner gets the jackpot.
Nice.
And you get like probably a life subscription or like a year subscription of like Pilsner. We throw some gifts at you and whatnot. And it's called Double Liner. So you're trying to get it on the double liner. That's like where the jackpot is. We also offer, so Arowana is the main sponsor of cannabis at the park. It's a drone delivery service. So you basically go to the Arowana kiosk, you give them your order, and a drone will find you wherever you are in the park and deliver your marijuana to you. And that's a business that Terry famously started, and it's just a Arowana. It's a drone delivery service for weed. So we thought, what better place to test it out than in the park? And given we understand that given our park and given the theme of given her, you can give her a little too hard, or sometimes you need a break to keep giving her. So we do have a nice open, chill, relaxing area called the rest stop. So it's just like a nice, calming, open field where you can kind of just take a 5 and you can just get a second wind so that you can keep fucking giving her again. And then right across from the rest stop is the Pilsner main stage. So there we'll always have a couple acts and whatnot, but every night closes off with Diener and his group Night Seeker, and they headline every night, and that's what people come for, and Diener gets to perform every night, which is something that he lives for. And yeah, that's my Foo Bar Land experience.
I love how fucked up beyond all recognition it is.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I'll go first. I'll go high. I'll go with the positives. I love Arowana. I love a good pun. So, like, the fact that I can have airdropped concessions, so to speak, given to me at any given point in the park instead of having to go back, like you just check in, like if you would have, I would have bought a year pass to your park. Had you given me like a little thing that the drone can track me, it knows exactly where I am in the park, so I don't have to leave my ride or leave my. You
can be in the line.
I can be in the line and just drop down, toke up, hit the ride, have a blast. I love how you combined, because Diener actually has a band, like he plays.
Yeah, he does
in real life.
Yeah, he does.
So I loved how you took our slogan, buddy. Real life meets real life. So you took the fact that he has a real music career.
Yeah.
The one time I saw him, I shotgunned a beer with him.
Is that the Pyramid when they
Pyramid.
came in? Fuck
it
yeah.
was at the Pyramid.
Oh, yeah.
And he was
amazing.
lit.
Amazing.
But like stepped on stage and you were just like, oh, like not even had a beer in him. So the combination of your event with your music and his real life career with his movie career, that's great. The only thing I didn't get, I would have loved to have paid some money to chop a truck in half with a chainsaw. Like that's
Yeah, I totally forgot to mention we also
and then get berated by
yeah
Dean or Terry's girlfriend.
yeah Trish.
Trish.
Trish was actually, so me and Claudia were discussing like head of security as Trish. We would have as like head of security at the park kind of thing like that, because you know she doesn't fuck around kind
No,
of thing.
she doesn't fuck around.
Yeah, no, she'd be head of security for sure.
But yeah, everything. I mean, your park is my park without a waiver. First of all, and second of all, like it's a good old Canadian fuck around, have a good time.
Yeah,
like
man.
it's very Fubar is very Canadian. I think we can all agree that. So like you're just the Pilsner water fountain's pretty smart play too. Oh, I'm thirsty. Oh god. So yeah, that's my take. Lauren,
Sweet.
What about you?
Yeah, I love it. I don't have any issues with it. It just I think you could have fun and have like, you know, your restaurant, you could call it like the smoke pit if you really wanted to.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, and it could be like fine dining establishment within the you know, food bar fine dining, you know. Yeah, no, I like it. It just made me think of the first time I went to the Stampede as a kid, and it was just like those dudes running around. That's my
I think every country has a select amount of cinema that really expresses that country well.
Yeah.
And Hardcore Logo and Fubar, I think do a very good job of Canadian rock.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I totally agree. Like I think they just nothing quite captures the Canadian
dirty
essence.
Canadian essence.
Yeah, than those things. And like really it's one of those things that you can say people from around the world, if they watch and appreciate, that's great, but nobody will appreciate more than a Canadian.
Yeah, I think we're all one case of Pilsner away from being Diener.
Without a doubt.
That's just what we're all trying to fight inside. I never want to be Diener.
I do think your fountain would have a foam situation
yeah.
with the Pilsner, even though Pilsner is pretty watered down, but you may eventually have a lot of foam. But that could be fun, you know. There's nothing wrong with
the
that.
foam party. We'll make a foam party, a random foam party, and that'll be the foam we use.
Anything else, Lauren, or should I hand it over to Martin?
Oh, that's awesome. That was great.
Thank you,
Martin. Close us off, sir, so we can get to our special guest.
Okay. Really well done, Charles. So you got a check mark for Giver, fucking Giver. I got a check mark. I think your food options out of the ones you've heard so far, probably the best out of the bunch. I love the bologna sandwiches, the fried bologna sandwiches, and the Pilsner fountains. Very true to the movie and the whole food bar experience. I like your Escape Fort McMurray ride. It's educational and entertainment, which I love saying. Arowana, great name for a company. I think if you're thinking of a drone weed delivery service, call it that, and let's just invest in that right now. Drone weed delivery service called Arowana. I think that's a great name for a company.
They killed it with that. They killed that. That was from the TV show, and they absolutely killed it with that. That was my favorite thing. Arowana, ridiculous.
It's so smart.
It's so ridiculous. Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I just thought.
Yeah.
So, a couple things that I did want to see. That you didn't mention. I wanted to see something with the reference Tron Funkin' Blows.
Dude, I know.
Because that's what I think of when I, think of the word fubar. Was like my last words will not be Tron Funkin' Blows.
Yeah. I had a rage area part of the park. It was similar to kind of like the Fear and Loathing thing, where it was literally the people that were too rowdy. They would have an area to just destroy a bus shack and spray paint if they want Tron Funkin' Blows.
That would have been great.
The Tron, I know. I'm like, fuck. But yeah, I'm just happy that somebody knew. Yeah, that's probably one of the most infamous lines from that whole thing.
When they show up at the Mac and it's like shift change at 11 o'clock at night, and they're like, "We're here to work, Tron." It's just like, what the fuck is wrong?
My favorite is when they find out about workers' comp and they're all trying to get fucking hurt. So they can get workers' comp. Anyways, Martin, thank you for appreciating that, though.
Also, too, what I thought, one thing that you missed as well was your timeout, like your timeout area, the serene grass. I thought what you were gonna say was, "Where am I? You're in a ditch, Farrell." And I think that's once again something that's serene from someone who's partied too much. I thought that was a missed opportunity for a great quote.
Use the ditch. Use the ditch as the calming area. Is that what you're
exactly. Yeah, like something like that. Like it's in
they had a water park I was gonna use the water park section was that dip, the cliff that they jump off.
Yeah.
It'd be the Memorial Feral Park 'cause that's where he dies.
Oh shit.
I think your park will smell a lot like Michael's. Puke. The smell will be the Palomino nightclub at 2 a.m. That's what it'll smell.
So
Or a bottle depot. A bottle
yeah.
depot. I can see it smelling.
Oh yeah.
I-
Oh yeah.
Question for you, Charles.
Yes.
Will I have to sign a waiver to enter your park?
Yeah, so I guess I totally forgot to mention that, but yeah, you definitely got to sign a waiver. You got to sign the giver to giver, basically.
See, that's a great waiver. You got to sign the giver to giver waiver to get in the park. Because
Yeah.
I'll go to it. I'll sign it. I'm there.
Right?
there.
Okay.
You should spell waiver with like an apostrophe R.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Waiver. Yeah. For sure. The waiver to giver. Yeah.
The waiver to giver. That's
Yeah.
it.
I like that. I
please,
like that.
please just make your waiver though. Like, please sign here, and all you just have to sign is giver.
Yeah.
Like, not
no,
even your
for sure.
name, just giver.
For sure. Yeah. Are you prepared to giver? And it's just like
Giver.
giver. Yeah.
Thank you. You now may enter. There is.
That's the I am not a robot to get into the park.
We don't have a merry-go-round for you. It's just giver. So, Lauren, please close us out.
Okay. Well,
Party on. Excellent. Do it.
yeah, I did Wayne's World. And the reason I did that is because when I was like 9, my mom's friend came to visit and they were giving away either Mo Money or Wayne's World at the gas station if you filled up. And she got Wayne's World and gave it to me, and I watched it without parental supervision.
That's amazing.
So yeah, I was like 9 or 10, and then after like 4 or 5 viewings of it, then my parents watched it with me and were kind of like, oh shit. But the good part is most of the references went way over my head. Like, for example, schwing, I just thought was a fun word. You know, that kind of thing. So but it kind of got me going on the path of comedy and performing, and you know, I still thank my mom's friend Linda for giving it to me because it was great. So
Linda's the best.
Shout out to Linda.
yeah.
I had an awkward moment with Cream of Some Young Guy. How was that for you the first time?
Yeah, I didn't get it, but I remember saying it and my mom being like, don't ever say that again. And I was like, okay.
And then you're like, why? And they're like, just don't say it.
Yeah, because we had a favorite Chinese restaurant in Calgary, and I was like, can I order cream of, my mom was like, don't. So,
I have a question.
yeah.
So Lauren, if you chose Mo Money, we would be seeing like a Damon Wayans kind of
yes.
theme park idea.
It was really just, I was like, oh, I like Mike Myers. Because she showed them to me and I was like, sure, let's pick Wayne's World, because that's why I picked it. I know it would have been a very different path in my life if I'd picked Mo Money.
You win for best reason why.
Yeah.
Ever. In 100 episodes, it's best reason why. Go on.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. So Wayne's World, there's a lot of like dumb references, but I feel like I'm in good company with that, and everyone will appreciate that. So the entrance, I feel like I should just call it Wayne's World. Like, why mess with that? Like, you could get really meta and find something deep in there to name it that, but I like just being Wayne's World. So anyways, you show up and it's just a giant butt. That's like the entrance. And then there's people dressed like monkeys, and they have like, they're flying monkeys and they come out. So it's like monkeys flying and they greet you. So they welcome you.
So,
you know, that's the entrance part. And then every person at the ticket booth is named Stacy, and she just says, hi, Wayne. Hi. Hi, Wayne. Hi. Always. That's all she says. And she's got a neck brace. So that's how, and then you get in. Then it gets a little, I have it like all over the place. So the food would be Stan Mikita's donuts. There'd be donuts everywhere.
Yeah.
Also Grey Poupon mustard, just there if you need it. And then the ride, I have a few rides. I feel like Ballroom Blitz would be a great name for a ride. I don't know exactly, maybe like the backwards roller coaster, that could be that.
Yeah.
But then there would be like a teacup ride, but they look like little Dixie cups. And then it's called Spew Into This. And so you ride those cups.
Oh, fuck, you're on fire.
Thanks. And then obviously there'd be a video game place called Noah's Arcade, because why not? I was actually talking about it with Aaron. He had an alternate name for rides, and it would just be the swings everywhere, but call it the Schwings, which is also pretty great. What else? Oh, and then so there'd be an information hut, and it's just Alice Cooper telling you random information about history. Like telling you the origins of Milwaukee, something like that. And then all the games that you play, the only thing you can win are gun racks because nobody needs those, and you have all these people carrying gun racks around the park. Yeah, what else do I have? Oh, and then when Aaron also had them on too, because I was like, I want to have like Crucial Taunt, which was Cassandra's band, and there'd be like awesome music playing, and he's like, oh, you could call it Crucial Taunted House, which is pretty great. You have to give him that. He hates puns, and that was a pretty great one. There's also a tour trolley that goes through the whole park called the Mirthmobile. And then there's just randomly like a glove on a bottle of Schlitz just waving at you, and you walk by because they're reference of Laverne and Shirley. That's really deep in my head. And then when you go to leave the park, you leave and it looks like the parking lot, but then all of a sudden it's not the parking lot, and then it's like and then you go to leave again and it's still the same but it's different, and then it's and then you leave, and then you're like so yeah. And of course Bohemian Rhapsody would be playing on repeat in the whole park. That's it. That's what I got so far.
Well done.
Oh my god,
so good.
That's zinger after zinger after zinger. This. Okay, I'll take, and I honestly, like, I was writing Charles's down. I was writing that down. I got nothing to write down except I wish you would have had a game called Hang On Guys, I Fell on My Keys.
Oh yeah.
Everybody crawls along a lawn trying to get win a race for something. And they win a Flowbee. That would have been my only.
Oh yeah, Flowbees. Forgot about Flowbees.
My will to live, man. But you know what though? You took all of the shit that counts, because the shit that like this doesn't count, but like you got all of the fuck. I love people who play this and nail it the first time. It just makes me happy because I know who I'm speaking to now.
Yeah.
Nerd fan who we love that here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my or like, what's the joke he plays with the one guy he gets on the show where he's like,
oh yeah, he's got the cue cards with the names that he
Sphincter says
Sphincter says
what? Like that would have been perfect for the information booth. That's my only thing, and it's you just went a different route, but there's no negative in that route. I'm done. Unless I fell on my keys, I got nothing else to say. So, Charles, you go next.
You absolutely killed it. Yeah, no, I definitely would go to this park. I would go to this park so much. The entrance, fucking unreal. Like, unreal way to enter a park. Yeah, I think you killed it in terms of the references. Like, I absolutely love Spew into this. Like, even for a teacup ride, I would totally go into it. Even as an adult man, like, for a teacup ride, totally go into it. The Schwings is unreal. Like, that's just so good. I thought for a character experience, you could have Rob Lowe walking around the park, and then people just accusing him of, or like him taking off the mask, and it's actually the old man.
Old Man Withers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I love that all the booth ladies are called Stacy. Fuck, that killed me. And the gun rack, just people walking around with gun racks. You can even have areas where people can put their gun racks if they have to use the restrooms and stuff.
That's amazing.
Yeah, no, Noah's Arcade, of course. Like, you can't have. You could even do at the bar. They could have those ridiculous tropical bowls that Garth.
Oh yeah.
That could be like one of the signature drinks, because it's like
call it the Foxy Lady.
Yes!
There you go. Oh yeah.
As soon as you order it, you have to do a slow walk through the restaurant to somebody, and then they videotape it.
Oh, you could have a joke seat where somebody at random point is sitting on a seat and somebody hits a button and they fall off the seat like Garth.
Yes.
You just go flying off the.
All the bad things that happen to Garth can happen to you in the park.
No, it was good. It was awesome. It was honestly awesome. And I think your park is one of the only few that a waiver's not really necessary. That was a huge plus too. Like, I don't think you need a waiver for yours. So.
Listen, guys, I'm just trying to be
Feel
responsible
safe.
and keep my business afloat here.
Yeah, but I feel a lot safer at hers for sure.
Oh, God. So does every safety inspector too. So I mean,
Yeah, no, you killed it. You absolutely killed it. Yeah, it was great.
Thank you.
Martin?
Yeah, props for being the only park that doesn't require a waiver. It's probably the safest park out of all the ones that were mentioned. I love Stacy as the entrance. First thing you experience that flying monkeys, Dixie stew into this great swings. The name awesome.
Right.
I love Alice Cooper in the information hunt. Just
Millie
great.
Walker.
Gunrax also amazing. I was like, is she gonna say Gunrax? She's gonna Gunrax, and she said it. And I was like, yes, that's awesome. So you checked off a lot of boxes for my check marks. One thing that I wanted to see though was a character experience with Ed O'Neill's character, the donut guy, especially when he has that creepy monologue with killing a man and you can see his soul evaporate. Let's set this theme.
That'd be cool if it was like he just comes up to you and you just think, yeah, I love that. He definitely should have something like that. Used to actually, it was the only part of the movie that actually scared me when I was a kid because I was like, I don't understand why that's
It's
funny.
so creepy.
So anti-movie in the middle of a comedy movie.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like looking back on it, it's great. But
And yeah, that's the only thing I wanted was that character experience. But I would go to this park, and if you want me to sign a waiver, I will sign whatever you want. Well done.
thank you.
Oh yeah, killed it.
So, how do you pick a winner? Well, you vote for somebody else. This is your first time, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we sit down and we go, all right, who did the best job that wasn't yourself? Can't vote for yourself, vote for somebody else. So, I will type in mine and Charles. Well, you guys type yours into the chat group. Type it. Don't hit enter until I count down. Okay? So, Charles, just write it on your phone and then show it to me, and I'll type it into here. I already know where I'm going with mine. So,
Oh man, this is tough.
and the order will be mine will be first and Charles will be second when you look at mine. So it'll be easy to figure out.
It's always tough.
This is not, I mean, for a thing that doesn't matter, but matters to my mental health, this is always tough. I don't like picking a winner unless it's me.
This is a tough one, man. This is a tough week.
Yeah, it's like everyone had really, really good picks this week.
Yeah.
Especially not just the theme park, but like the movies everyone picked. Great.
Yeah, and like bottom line is we all agree we would all visit each other's parks. Like these were all wicked parks.
Mine should be last, so if anything happens, we just
We can die at Michael's.
Well, I did think about if you did die at mine, we would send you off into space like Hunter S. Thompson was at his funeral, where he was put in a rocket and launched into the air. So I mean, like, and you know, for a cost, right? Because it's in Vegas, you can do anything in Vegas for a price. So I got mine.
It's tough, man.
All right, everybody, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, wins it. Lauren, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't put this on a resume. It won't count for shit.
Never know.
Share it with Aaron because everybody else won't understand it. No, I'm just kidding. First question. Did you have fun putting this together? Because we obviously enjoy doing this week after week, but how was your experience trying to figure this out? That's what we're curious about here.
No, it was great because I was saying like, yeah, I was telling Aaron, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna pick Wayne's World. And he's like, great, we should watch that again. And I'm like, yeah, it's been a while since I've watched it, but I didn't need to because I know it so well. So it's fun to just like relive. Like I even went through a phase where I wore a black t-shirt and a black hat, and I did this a lot. And
Hell yeah.
like it was big. I had a crush on Mike Myers without realizing I had a crush on Mike Myers. Like I would have ran away with him. That was my first preteen crush was Mike Myers. All my friends like Devin Sawa and JTT. Not me, Mike Myers.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas, JTT.
Mhm.
For those
JTT, yeah, man.
I did like him too. I'm not gonna lie. I wrote him a letter.
I got touched on JTT after Wild America. I saw Wild America and I was like, all right, I get this hype with this kid now.
Yeah, I never saw it. I was like, Home
It's good.
Improvement, meh. All right, fine.
Yeah,
but
yeah. No, I agree with the Mike Myers though too. Like Austin Powers, I think Austin Powers and Wayne's World for our generation, those are like two pivotal characters, I would say.
Yeah, and So I Married an Ex-Murderer also.
Oh, without a doubt. I'd say it's the
Whoa,
most underrated
man.
movie for sure.
whoa, man. Anyway, so Aaron, we asked you to come on, and thank you so much for saying yes. But I also wanted before
Lauren, not Aaron.
That's okay.
Sorry.
People do it all the time. We have androgynous names. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
he indulged in his park before we got started. So
Sorry, I've been digging into my suitcase.
He found his suitcase.
he
I thought-
method theme park.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. But Aaron, like we talked
Again,
about.
Lauren.
Lauren, not Aaron.
No, I said again. Aaron mentioned that you
Oh,
were
okay.
the one we
Okay.
wanted to
All
talk
right.
to, and after fucking let me finish my sentence, you fuckers.
We're like his lawyers.
Aaron mentioned that we should talk to you, and after reviewing you, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, you should know that Lauren, not Aaron, is a very very talented actor and has been working in a lot of stuff that gets filmed here and as well as filmed in Toronto. So I want to start with what gave you the acting bug, Aaron? What was
Lauren.
Lauren.
Lauren, what gave you the acting bug? Answer it before I fuck this up again.
I don't know. I think it was just watching shows, and I remember watching shows and being like, "Oh, that cop looks fun," and it's like, I don't want to be a cop. I want to play a cop, or and then also just the I had a lot of kind of asshole. Not a lot, I should say. I had a few asshole teachers and guidance counselors who were like, you're never going to amount to anything if you don't get serious about your academics. And there was just something fun about kind of sticking it to them and then being good and then booking things and then, going home to Calgary. And I think the first thing I ever did that lots of people saw was a commercial when I was 22, I think, and it played nationally. And I went home to Calgary and I ran into some teachers and they were like, I saw your commercial. That's fantastic. And you're like, thank you. And it is nice that you appreciate it now,
Yeah.
except for when you're growing up and you just want someone to support your ideas and then they're telling you they're wrong. So yeah, it was nice. But yeah, I went off on a tangent there. I think it was just, I liked making my family laugh and I liked making people, I just like being characters and being silly. And I love people. I love people watching and I love that. So being able to play other people has always been very appealing to me.
You've done I can't even list out you've got a really great IMDb page. So we'll start with, what was the first gig that you remember booking that you were like, okay, this is I'm sure all of them matter because it's the first, but point, I guess, where you're like, okay, I'm not just trying, I'm actually doing this. So what was that role and any sort of anecdote to that story?
Well, it was really surprising because I lived in Vancouver. I'm from Calgary. I lived in Toronto, lived in Vancouver. All of those places, I didn't really book a ton of stuff. It would be little commercials here or there, or an assistant in a Hallmark movie or something. And then Aaron and I moved back to Winnipeg because we were making no money in Vancouver. So we moved here. And then once I moved here, and everyone's like, Winnipeg, there's no acting in Winnipeg. And it's how wrong they were. Okay. And there's so much stuff shooting here. I don't really do comedies here, which is fun. I'm in a lot of thrillers, and I wrapped this past Christmas on the sequel to The Orphan, and I have a nice little role in that. So it's nice, no spoilers. I'm not telling you anything, but yeah, I don't know what role it was. I think when I booked on Fractured on Netflix, that one was really nice because I wasn't expecting to, because I had just had my daughter. She was 2 months old. I booked on that. And then I kind of was like, well, I can do this, but I need this and this and this because I have a baby that I'm nursing. And they were like, yeah, for sure. And everyone was so nice and really
Nice.
Yeah. And you're with these incredible actors, Sam Worthington was really great, but Stephen Tobolowsky, who is Ned in Groundhog Day, I have a scene where I have to protect him, and it's just
Wow.
yeah, get
What's that
between.
like?
Cool.
What's that like, seeing somebody who is so pivotal in a comedy that I'm sure you loved growing up?
Yes, absolutely.
And then your job, not just acting with him and playing with him, but now you're protecting the person who you admired, not just in a scene where you're both kind of doing some heavy lifting. You're the one who's carrying along. What's that like for you?
It's really cool. It's interesting because in the moment you're I need to not look like the little kid that I feel like right now. I need to really focus and put my shit aside and just do my work and know my lines and pay attention to everything. And I think a lot of times you get in your head and you don't, but it actually makes your job easier when you're on set. It's pay attention to what everyone else's lines are, where they are standing, what they are doing. Pay attention to where the cameras are moving. Pay attention to what the director is saying. And, you know, I'm not saying like eavesdrop, but I'm just saying like pay attention to those things. Watch where they put marks, watch where people's pacing is, where they say their line while they're walking. Like it sounds kind of boring, but the mechanics of it make it so much easier for you. And then once you're focusing all that, you kind of forget that you're in a movie. Like I did a movie with Judith Light, who, you know, is Angela Powers on Who's the Boss, and she's the nicest lady. And I had this scene where I had to like be like scared of her and like really nervous. And I love playing nervous characters when you're with bigger stars, because then you're like, okay, cool, I can actually just be really nervous. It's actually really great. And so yeah, like you're just looking at her, and they couldn't, and most of the time they're just normal. I would say 9 times out of 10 they're normal, great people, and they just kind of. But I did have like a weird thing, because as a kid I watched Now and Then all the time. I love that with like Christina Ricci and Devon Sawa.
Classic.
And I was in a movie with Christina Ricci and a movie with Devon Sawa, and I met them both, and my like 13-year-old brain was like like it was just, and they're equally lovely people. They have their own kid, like they're, you know what I mean, like not together, but like they have kids, and like they're just normal people, and they want to do a good job too. And I think it's one of those things where I can't think off the top, like everyone's like, who's the worst person for working? Like there really isn't many, because I think you have to make it not about you. Like they're not there to entertain me or be nice to me. And if they are, bonus, great. And if no one's gone out of their way to be a huge douche to me. Like everyone's just there to work. And the crew here in Manitoba is insane. Like they're great. They are so good. So that also helps, because when you're on a set and you're just kind of like I have it comes out on the 25th, Ice Road with Liam Neeson, and I have a tiny scene, I have a tiny role, but in the scene I like yell at Liam Neeson and it's
awesome.
It blows your mind, and he's the nicest, most charming man. He is so kind and so lovely. But then like, you know, the scene happens, and I just remember like finishing and being like, and then looking, and one of the camera guys, and it's just like, he's like, and like, and it's just like, you know, it's really cool, and it's really fun. And I'm also in genres of movies that I just would never have thought I would have been in, but I love it. It's so much fun. That's
what, as we get to talk to everybody here in this town, they all say the same thing. It's the crew and the people, and there's just a thing about Manitoba Hollywood that is different. And I honestly think it has to do with size. I think any corporation, any business, any idea, as soon as it gets too big to fail, so to speak, is when you start to have the problems. So Manitoba has such a niche and wonderfully talented group of people, but it's not too big, right? It'll never get to Toronto. It'll never get to Vancouver size. And that is what protects it, because they all value it, and they all want to make sure it works.
Yeah.
They'll want the work to come here, because like you did Tales of the Loop, which is
a really a nice tiny little role too, but it was really cool, because it's the director, he was very meticulous about what he wanted. Like even like there's a scene, part of the scene where there's music playing on a radio, and I'm giving this not spoiler alert, but there's someone who's in like a coma, and I play a nurse, and I'm giving him like a sponge bath on the arm, not a X-rated sponge bath, but just like a regular normal nurse sponge bath. And so I'm doing that on his arm, and like the take of me putting my hand in the bowl to get the soapy sponge out, like he wanted that very specific, and like I was like, really, this is interesting. And then when I watched it, I'm like, no, it looks great, and it's such a small, minute thing, and I love working with different people and seeing that, because things you would never think about now. And I like to write too and stuff. So now I'm like, okay, like I see the dynamics and how that it's not just what the words say, it's also the action. And I will say words definitely matter, because sometimes as an actor, you'll get things where you're like, no one talks like this. Like, I don't know how to audition with this, because no one speaks that way. So you do have to make it your own sometimes, but most of the time it's not like that. It's only a handful of times I've ever seen that. But like the specifics of just like how you grab the sponge, and then like how just the angles of it. It's so small, but we got to talk to Expressions Acting Studio about child acting and the kids there, and the things that we were told, me and Mark, about acting, and what you're saying about paying attention and being in the moment. It's not so much always about waiting for your line. It's about watching the moment that creates where your line should be. And if you're not paying attention to the moment and just waiting to speak, like acting is more listening. Yes, it
and
is.
memorizing
Yeah.
than I ever thought. I was like,
Yeah.
memorize your lines, show up, find your
Well,
mark,
and
do your take.
I think that's why with acting, like the biggest element of acting is reacting.
Yes.
Because, right,
Yes,
like,
that's what they said too.
right, because, like, for instance, and I'm sure Lauren, like, you've experienced it when you have a scene partner, even that's not on your same energy and whatnot. It affects it, right? Like, it really it changes it, and especially when you're doing something like you were saying, like yelling at Liam Neeson, right? Like. That is a huge, like, you're setting a tone, and that's a big part of the reaction from it, right? So
Yeah, and it's really interesting because he's yelling at me,
right,
and we did like a rehearsal where he like slams really hard on the desk and he's got that voice, and you're just
Yeah.
like, ugh, and like there's a part of your body that's like, Lauren wants to jump and go, holy shit, but this nurse has to be like, like, because
Yeah.
I'm basically this nurse not letting him get away with something, right?
right,
So
right.
it's like I'm basically telling him off, and then they cut, and then you're just like.
And it-
Like, I can't believe that just happened, and I didn't freak out or barf.
For
Like,
sure, because like you're acting, like you said, you're working, but then you're like Liam Neeson screaming at me.
Yeah.
Right now, this
and
is
it's amazing.
and you're right, and you're like, this is the coolest thing ever. But you
Yeah.
can't be like, can you do that again, please? Like,
Okay.
I love, right? Like, it's that's awesome.
I know you can't talk about Ice Road, but I know a couple things about it, but I don't want to ruin it because it's going to be a fucking great story. And
Yeah.
it's super fucking
Is it the one
cool.
that they said it's like taken like on like it's like a or not taken, but it's like an adrenaline, like it's like a Liam Neeson action movie that's like set in like
Yeah.
an Arctic setting or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But I do have to ask one hot question. Does
Okay.
he have a special set of skills or not?
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Referring to Taken. I'm just being a dick.
Oh yes. No, he absolutely does. He's so cool. He's just the nicest man, and he's so fun. And in the makeup trailer, they were like the hair lady was asking me about my daughter, and then he was just doing his lines and getting his hair done, and then he was just like, "Oh, how old's your daughter?" And then so we started talking about it, and then he was telling me about his sons who are now fully grown, and it was just like he was just so kind, and they don't have to do that. Like,
Right.
you know, obviously any job you've ever had, it's helpful if you're kind and considerate to whoever your coworkers are. So I don't know why that wouldn't equate to the same thing, but they just, you know, like it's just really, it's really cool. And sometimes I don't get starstruck very often. I might, when I look at the call sheet and have the starstruck at home and be like, holy crap, I'm going to meet this person today. But for the most part, yeah, they're normal people, and they happen to be super famous and stuff. But
The first thing I saw you in was your conservation officer role in Hunter x Hunter.
yeah, that was super fun.
So me and Jimmy
Awesome.
watched it because we got to talk to Sean about, not Sean, the director. His name's eluding
Yeah,
me.
Sean Linden.
Sean Linden. Thank you. Sorry,
Mhm.
Sean McKinney and Sean. Too many Seans on this show. Too many Seans, too many Laurens, and way too many fucking Aarons. But so we saw that to talk to Sean, and Sean was super gracious with his time and told us all the things. That's a nature movie. That's an outdoor movie. So sets and CGI and everything, but like that is a beautiful movie to watch, first of all. And I'm just curious what set life was like shooting in the middle of the Manitoba. Well, were you guys even in Ontario for a bit, or was it just Manitoba?
They did shoot. None of my scenes were. My scenes were all like near Seven Sisters and I can't remember the name of the park right now.
What is out there? I'm a city boy. I'm not good with
Seven Sisters. I'm trying to think.
There was like Tolubi Falls nearby.
Yeah,
And
Whiteshell, Pine Point Falls is near there as well.
yeah, it was a few places, and then there was a little bit
beautiful.
in Birds Hill as well. Just
Oh, nice.
yeah, on the outskirts there. But it was cold because it wasn't quite winter yet, so it was like that wet cold.
Oh,
So yeah, you got.
like you feel it in your bones, kind of.
Yeah,
cold? Yeah.
but it added to it. It made it.
Yeah.
I kind of liked it, to be honest with you. It was, yeah, and it was nice because Aaron was working on that too. He was doing a lot of the special effects applications for the makeup, and yeah. So and it was just a lot. Like it was just so much fun. And I mean, I don't want to spoil that ending of that movie, but that's intense and amazing. And yeah, and it's funny because sometimes I'll see like someone will post it up there, and there's all these people being like, I do not like how they portray wolves as being so evil. And it's like what they did to Jaws. People didn't swim in lakes and oceans because of sharks, and they think that. And you're going like, you don't know what you're talking about. Just watch the movie.
The wolves don't care. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any wolves out there being like, "Come on, we're nice."
Yeah, exactly.
The wolf is allegory in this movie. It's got
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with
Yeah.
the wolf. And for anybody who says that, I want to sick a wolf on them. Like
Yeah.
all it is used is just to carry maybe 10 minutes of the movie,
Mhm.
and it's a great bait and switch. And she's right. The ending is the movie,
Mhm.
and the scene, the makeup that he did then is fucking fantastic. I know he's worked.
Well,
we love
yeah.
Doug. Yeah.
Yeah, Doug designed it all, but Aaron was applying it. So yeah.
No, he did. They all did a very
Mhm.
fantastic job. What everybody we talked to is predominantly Manitoba, because dance with who you came with, right? Look at your hometown, and there's no reason to go any further. Like Manitoba is like in Atlanta where they're filming Marvel. They know about us up here.
Yeah, man.
The tax credit, the talent, the local talent in every way, shape, or form. Set, actor, creative, whatever you want. Like you can make
Yeah.
like fucking Sean Penn's Flag Day just got picked up at Cannes.
Mm-hmm.
I have a teeny tiny role. I don't even think you'll see me in it. It's so small.
Okay, but
I got to spend a whole day on set with Sean Penn. So.
what is
Yeah, there you
what's-
go.
Aaron Dole, an actual Aaron, not the one, your husband. Too many fucking names. I keep telling you, you guys are thinking I'm forgetting shit. There's too many people. But he saw Sean outside, and all he saw a scene where I guess they were setting up, and the greens guy was like trying to do something, and he just saw Sean Penn farmer snot and then walk over and start cutting the branch off and then go back to the director's chair. And I was like, that is 100% the Sean Penn I would anticipate being on set. Like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Oh,
I'll
yeah.
do whatever needs to be done. Just
Yeah.
make the fucking movie. Is like working with Sean Penn. I mean, is like he interviewed Al Chapo.
Yeah, he's a really interesting guy too. Like he's just very, like you said, he's got a very clear vision. It's like that's what he wants.
Mhm.
And the DP on it was Danny Moder.
Yep.
And they seem to work really well together from what I saw. Like I said, it was one day that I was on, so I can't really speak to any instances or anything. But just from what I saw, like it was very like this is what we want. This is how we're doing it. And there was no
That's awesome.
like sometimes you're on sets where people are like, you could do it this way, and people are like, okay, or they like talk through their thoughts. He didn't do that. It was like, no, this is what I want.
Mhm.
And I respect that. I think both ways are fine because I do appreciate when people are more collaborative.
Mhm.
But I can understand how sometimes that eats away time too. So yeah.
Well, and it's his story. Like he helped cultivate this. I don't know if he wrote it, but I know that because it's
No, it's based off a real guy. Like
is it okay?
convict.
All right.
Mhm.
'Cause I heard it was based off the Flim Flam Man.
Yes. Yeah.
Flag Day
Yeah.
is the movie, and it's about a con artist and his daughter.
Mhm.
And the fact that it got picked up at Cannes is awesome. I think who bought it? I think MGM
I
bought
think
it.
MGM did. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, and then Amazon bought it, but
Mhm.
MGM bought it. But getting attention at Cannes, being
Yeah.
filmed here, like those are all great things.
Yeah.
But hey, we almost got Last of Us. That was a huge thing, right? But the fact that we're known, and like you said, the fact that we're known and they talk about us and they know of us, it's awesome.
Mhm.
It's huge.
Yeah, well, because Atlanta, like in Georgia, they have the same kind of thing where they have the tax credit
Yeah.
similar to what Manitoba does. So
That would be-
Yeah.
yeah.
that's why so much stuff is going down there. Although I heard they're trying to pull some of that because of some of their laws that they have in Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
the voting law that
Voting
passed is
rights.
insane.
Yeah.
That one was insane.
And women's rights and things like that. So yeah.
There's
But I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon. But
It's
they
hard
do.
to do so. Like you want to take a stance, but at the same time,
Yeah.
you're making a thing that you've already
Right.
started that has like it's just a
Yeah.
really awkward position to be in.
Mhm.
One more question before you go, which is of everybody who comes on here. What's Manitoba film to you? What do you love about it so much? Like you said, you were in Vancouver, you were in Toronto, then you came here, and it's like most people would think that's the backwards way to go after your dream.
Yeah, I think a lot of people still think that way, and
Mhm.
like I have friends in Toronto and Vancouver who don't even get to audition for the things that I book, which is insane to me, knowing how the system works out there, where it's like there's a hierarchy and your agent submits you and you put it on tape and you do all this, and it's like, and I still like we have basically two like major player casting directors here, and they kind of field most of the stuff, and then they work with the casting directors in LA and New York and all that kind of stuff. But for me, Manitoba Film is everything. I haven't had to have a Joe job, pandemic notwithstanding, but I haven't had to have a Joe job in years because it's like the crew are great, and they care about you and they care about your family, and you know about their family, and it is a big but small in comparison to other markets family, and I'm really very, very thankful that I moved here and that, it worked out for Aaron and I, because we both lived in lots of places and we just wanted some semblance of family, but it's afforded me, like, we can have a house, we can have a kid, we can and still do what we love. And so I don't want to sell it on everybody and have a whole like tidal wave of actors move here and then flood the market and then we're like, get myself out of a job. But it's like some of the best people I've ever met are all here. And it's just really amazing. I love it.
Well, Lauren, thank you so much for spending a couple hours with us on a lovely Saturday afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's fucking pleasure. Absolute pleasure, Aaron. I mean, I'm just kidding.
No problem, Bob. Jeff, thanks for having me.
Oh, shit. Is there anything that you have coming up that you can talk about? Because we're not the show that wants to break the most impressive news. So if you can talk about it, great. If not, we understand.
Just that, June 25th, Ice Road comes out on Netflix. I don't know any release dates of anything else.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of stuff that's going to start shooting here in the next month or so. And I definitely can't talk about that, but I know lots of cool stuff's coming. So more stuff's coming out of Manitoba in the future, which is great. You can follow me on Instagram. It's me, Lauren Cochrane.
Yeah, we'll put that in everything. Everything that we do, we'll have all of your stuff up on it. Well, again, thank you. I can't say it enough. You have a standing chair now here, a sitting chair.
Cool.
On the show, so we would love to have you back anytime. And
okay, I'd love that.
Well, then that makes us just we're moving on up, boys.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Woo!
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is this week's Reel Debaters production for you.
Yeah.
We have nothing. Well, the only thing we can tell you about, check out our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is brand new. It's got a couple of videos there. They are called Real Quicks. What is a Real Quick? It's exactly what it is. It's a 5-minute take on a movie we've watched. We figured what better way to show you us than through how we talk. Anybody can do one. So if you like listening to the show and you really want to step up and let us chop it up and embarrass you a little bit, we'll take one from Lauren. We'll take one from Aaron. We'll take one from anybody. Fucking waiting for you, Charles, to send one over.
That's right. I got to send mine over. That's right.
So you can find us at Reel Debaters on YouTube. Charles, where can they find your shit?
You can find me on youtube.com/cfbomb.
Yes.
Or on Instagram, CFBomb as well. Pretty much just type in CFBomb on anything, and I think I'm the one that comes up.
You are, yeah. Because every time I tag you, there's it's just blank underneath.
It's working.
Only CF Bomb. Martin, anything change out in Vancouver for you yet? For any
Comedy is coming back.
Really?
Soon. Yeah, stand up finally. June it'll be a bunch of shows. I think mid-June to early July, you're gonna start seeing more shows. So I don't have anything, nothing's for sure solid yet, but within the next few weeks for sure you'll start seeing more. So I'll probably have stuff to plug.
Yeah,
next
just
few episodes.
Send me all the stuff and I'll put it up so that anybody in Vancouver can see your show dates and shit. Yeah. So I think you, me, Lauren, Martin.
Yeah.
Done.
Awesome. Thanks again, Lauren. That was great.
Thank
Good
you.
stuff.
That was
So much fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have been playing the part of Michael Petro. Charles, who have you been this week?
I have been playing the role of Charles Fernandez.
Perfect. Martin, who have you been this week?
I have been playing the role of Jimmy Skinner III.
Wow. You just keep multiplying. Lauren, you can be whoever you want. So if you feel
I'm Aaron Murky.
well played. I like that. I deserve that. Find us on reeldebaters.ca, everybody. If you want to send us an email, it's reeldebaters@gmail.com. And to follow us on all of our social media, it is at Reel Debaters, and the spelling is REEL for all of it. Watch all the movies, kids. We are gone.
Bye.
That was ridiculous.